My beloved child, before this day comes to its end, I want you to quiet your heart and listen carefully to my voice. There is a reason you were drawn to these words today. There is a reason your spirit feels as though something unseen is stirring just beyond the horizon. You may not be able to explain it. You may not have the evidence your mind keeps asking for. Yet deep within you, there is a whisper telling you that tomorrow cannot be like yesterday. That whisper is not your imagination. It is my gentle invitation to prepare your heart, because a new chapter is closer than you think. For so long you have carried questions that no one else could answer. You have wondered why certain doors remained closed, why some prayers seem to echo back in silence, and why your journey has felt longer than you ever expected. There were moments when you smiled for others while hiding your own weariness. There were nights when you lay awake, wondering if I still saw you, if I still remembered every tear that fell when no one else was watching. My beloved, I never turned my eyes away from you. I have been with you through every lonely moment, every hidden struggle, and every quiet cry of your heart. Now I ask you not to let fear speak louder than my promises. The world may tell you to expect disappointment because of what happened yesterday. Your past may try to convince you that tomorrow will only repeat the pain you already know. But I am not limited by your past. I am not bound by the disappointments that tried to define your story. I write new beginnings where others see endings. I create paths where there seem to be only walls. What appears impossible to you has always been possible for me. That is why I say to you today, be ready. Do not allow doubt to steal the expectation I am placing inside your heart. I am not asking you to prepare because of fear. I am asking you to prepare because hope is about to rise again. Sometimes the greatest changes begin so quietly that only those who are listening can recognize them. They do not always arrive with loud announcements or dramatic signs. Often they begin with a single moment, a single decision, a single unexpected opportunity that changes everything that follows. Perhaps tomorrow will not look exactly the way you imagined. My plans are often greater than the pictures your mind can create. I see every detail that you cannot yet see. I know every conversation that has not yet happened, every door that is waiting to open, every blessing already moving toward you even while you wonder if anything is changing at all. What feels delayed to you has never been forgotten by me. So open your heart and release your heavy expectations into my hands. Let go of the fear that tells you nothing will ever change. Stand with quiet confidence instead of anxious striving. Lift your eyes beyond today's uncertainty, because I am already standing in your tomorrow. Trust that I have gone before you, preparing what you cannot yet understand. My beloved child, tonight is not the end of your story. It is the final page before a new chapter begins, and I will walk beside you through every step of it. My beloved child, I want you to understand something that will bring peace to your heart. What is about to unfold did not begin today, and it will not begin tomorrow. It began long before you could recognize my hand at work. While you believed you were simply living through ordinary days, I was arranging extraordinary moments. While you thought you were waiting, I was preparing. While you wondered if time had forgotten you, I was using every season to shape you into the person who could carry the blessing I have prepared. You have measured your journey by calendars and clocks, but I measure it by purpose. Every sunrise you witnessed, every disappointment you endured, every lesson you learned, and every tear you cried has become part of a greater story that I have been writing with perfect wisdom. Nothing has been random. Nothing has been meaningless. Even the chapters that brought confusion have served a purpose that you could not yet see. There were moments when you asked me why I allowed certain plans to fall apart. You held dreams in your hands, only to watch them disappear. You trust in people who walk away. You knocked on doors that never opened. In those moments, it was easy to believe that life was working against you. Yet even then, my loving hand was protecting you from paths that would have taken you away from the future I designed for you. I could see dangers hidden beyond those closed doors. I could see heartbreak that you could not imagine. Because I love you, I sometimes answered your prayers with silence, not because I wished to deny you, but because I wished to preserve you. Do not mistake my delays for my absence. A seed does not become a mighty tree the moment it touches the soil. It grows in places where no one can see it. Day after day, unseen roots stretch deeper before branches ever reach toward the sky. In the same way, I have been strengthening your character before expanding your opportunities. I have been teaching you patience before giving you greater responsibility. I have been filling your heart with compassion so that when I lift you higher, you will remember those who are still walking through valleys. You may have wondered why your faith has been tested. You may have asked why the road became so steep when you were trying your best to follow me. My beloved, a builder does not test a weak bridge because he wants to destroy it. He tests it because he wants to prove it can carry greater weight. Every challenge you have faced has quietly increased your strength. Every obstacle has revealed courage that you did not know you possessed because I placed it within you long ago. Even the moments you thought you failed have not escaped my redeeming power. I have taken your mistakes and turned them into wisdom. I have transformed your disappointments into compassion. I have used your seasons of loneliness to teach you how deeply my presence satisfies the human heart. Nothing you surrendered to me has been wasted. I gather every broken piece, and I create beauty where others only see loss. Now I ask you to stop looking at your life as though it hath been standing still. Beneath the surface, so much has been changing. The prayers you prayed years ago are still alive before me. The promises I whispered to your heart have not expired. The dreams that seem buried are not forgotten. I have simply been preparing the right moment, because a blessing received too early can become a burden instead of a gift. My timing is not slow. My timing is complete. As tomorrow approaches, do not focus only on what your eyes can see. Lift your heart higher. Believe that I have been working through every conversation, every unexpected delay, every unexpected meeting, and every quiet moment that seemed insignificant. The pieces of your story are moving together in ways you cannot yet understand. But I see the entire picture. I know where every path leads, and I know exactly when to reveal the next step. So rest in my faithfulness. Release the pressure to control every outcome. You do not need to force open what I have already chosen to unlock. You do not need to fear missing what I have prepared for you, because what comes from my hand cannot be stolen by another. Walk into tomorrow with quiet confidence, knowing that I have gone before you, preparing the way long before you ever realized that this moment was coming. My beloved child, the change you have been praying for hath been growing beneath the surface all along, and I have been preparing this moment with perfect love from the very beginning. My beloved child, have you noticed that something within you has been changing, even if you could not find the words to describe it? Perhaps you have felt a quiet restlessness that appeared without warning. Perhaps things that once satisfied you no longer hold the same place in your heart. You may have found yourself pulling away from constant noise, longing instead for moments of silence that you never used to seek. You may have wondered why familiar places suddenly feel unfamiliar, or why your spirit seems to be reaching for something greater than what your eyes can see. Do not be troubled by these changes. They are not signs that you are losing your way. They are signs that I am leading you into something new. When I prepare my children for a new season, I often begin by changing them from the inside before anything changes around them. The world looks for visible signs, but I begin with the heart. Long before a tree produces fruit, life is already flowing through its roots. In the same way, long before others notice a difference in you, I have already begun a quiet work deep within your soul. What you are experiencing is not confusion. It is preparation. There have been days when you felt as though you no longer fit into places where you once belonged. Conversations that once excited you now leave your heart empty. Pursuits that once consumed your thoughts now seem less important. You have questioned whether something was wrong with you, but my beloved, nothing is wrong. I am gently loosening your grip on what cannot follow you into the future I have prepared. If I left every desire unchanged, you would struggle to embrace the new things I am placing before you. Sometimes I remove the hunger for yesterday so you will be ready to receive tomorrow. You have also felt moments of deep weariness, not only in your body, but in your spirit. There were times when you could not explain why you felt so tired even after resting. You wondered why your heart seemed heavy, even when you tried to stay hopeful. Understand this: growth often requires more strength than comfort does. A seed must break apart before new life can emerge. The process is not always pleasant, but it is always purposeful. The stretching you have experienced has not been meant to harm you. It has been preparing you to carry blessings that once would have been too heavy for your shoulders. There have been moments of loneliness that made you wonder whether others had forgotten you. Friends became distant. Certain relationships changed. Some people stopped walking beside you, and you questioned why those connections faded. My beloved child, not every departure is a loss. Some people remain only for a season because they helped shape one chapter of your story. When the chapter closes, I lovingly guide you forward. If someone has stepped away, do not assume I have abandoned you. Often I create space before I bring the right people into your life. Empty hands are able to receive what full hands cannot. Even your prayers have begun to sound different. Once you may have asked me mostly to change your circumstances. Now, without even realizing it, your heart has started asking me to change you. That quiet transformation delights me. You are beginning to value my presence more than quick answers. You are learning that lasting peace is not found in having every question answered, but in trusting the one who already knows every answer. This is a beautiful sign of maturity, and I have been nurturing it with great care. Do not be discouraged if others do not understand what you are experiencing. They see only what is happening on the surface, but I see the sacred work taking place within you. A sculptor does not reveal the masterpiece with a single strike. Patiently, piece by piece, every unnecessary fragment is removed until the beauty hidden inside becomes visible. In the same way, I have been shaping your heart with patience, tenderness, and wisdom. Every lesson, every challenge, and every quiet moment has been another loving touch of my hand. So when you wake tomorrow, do not fear the person you are becoming. Welcome this new season with confidence, knowing that I am the one who is guiding every step. The changes within you are not accidents. They are evidence that my spirit has been preparing your heart for what lies ahead. You are not drifting without direction. You are being led with perfect love. Trust the quiet work I have been doing in places no one else can see, because the transformation that begins within your heart will soon become visible in every area of your life. My beloved child, the reason you have felt different is simple. You are no longer the person you used to be, and I am preparing you to become everything I created you to be. My beloved child, I know there are still moments when your thoughts return to the doors that never opened. You remember the opportunity that slipped away, the relationship that ended, the dream that seemed so close before it suddenly disappeared. There are questions that have remained in your heart, and sometimes you still wonder whether everything would have been different if only one door had stayed open. Today, I want you to see those moments through my eyes instead of your own. What you once called rejection, I often called protection. What you believed was a loss was, many times, my loving hand keeping you from pain you could not yet see. When a loving father sees danger ahead, he does not wait for his child to discover it alone. He reaches out, even if the child does not understand why. In the same way, I have reached into your journey more times than you realize. There were paths that appeared beautiful on the surface but carried hidden sorrow. There were promises made by people whose hearts could not sustain the words they spoke. There were opportunities that looked like answers to your prayers, but would have quietly pulled you away from the purpose I prepared for you. Because I love you completely, I could not allow every desire to become your reality. You may have cried when certain plans fell apart, but I saw what would have happened if they had succeeded. You saw the beginning of the road, but I saw where it ended. You saw immediate happiness, but I saw lasting heartbreak. You saw what you wanted in that moment, while I saw what your soul would truly need years from now. My wisdom stretches beyond every tomorrow, and my love refuses to sacrifice your future for temporary satisfaction. Think of a shepherd leading his sheep through unfamiliar land. The sheep may not understand why the shepherd subtly changes direction or refuses a certain path. From where they stand, the easier road looks inviting. Yet the shepherd sees the cliffs hidden beyond the hills and the predators waiting in the shadows. The change in direction is not punishment. It is protection. In the same way, when I redirected your steps, I was never trying to keep something good from you. I was keeping something harmful from reaching you. There were relationships you begged me to restore, yet I remained silent. It was not because I ignored your tears. I collected every one of them. I knew the pain you carried, and I also knew that some people could not walk with you into the future I was preparing. If I had answered every request exactly as you asked, you might still be carrying burdens that were never meant to remain on your shoulders. Sometimes love requires release before it can experience renewal. Sometimes healing begins only after a door has closed. There were opportunities that seemed perfect according to human understanding. Everything looked right. The timing appeared ideal. The people around you encouraged you to move forward. Then, without warning, everything changed. You questioned yourself. You questioned your decisions. Perhaps you even questioned whether I had forgotten you. But my beloved, I was closer than ever in those moments. I was quietly arranging circumstances to keep you from building your future on a foundation that could not endure the storms ahead. I want you to stop measuring my faithfulness by the number of doors that opened. Instead, measure it by the countless dangers you never had to face because I stood between you and them. There are disappointments you remember, but there are disasters you never experienced because my hand intervened before they could reach you. One day, when you see your story from eternity's perspective, you will discover that many of your greatest blessings were hidden inside what appeared to be unanswered prayers. This is why I ask you to release every lingering regret into my hands. Do not spend another day wondering what might have been. The life I have prepared for you does not depend on a missed opportunity or a closed door from your past. My plans are never so fragile that one disappointment can destroy them. I am able to create new paths where old ones ended. I am able to bring unexpected opportunities that exceed the ones you believed you had lost. My resources are endless and my creativity knows no limits. As tomorrow approaches, walk forward without looking back at the entrances that remain locked. Do not stand outside yesterday's closed doors while I am inviting you toward new ones that are already beginning to open. Trust that every step I withheld was an act of mercy. Trust that every delay carried purpose. Trust that every closed door became a wall of protection around the destiny I placed within you. My beloved child, you are not standing before a future diminished by what you lost. You are standing before a future strengthened by everything I lovingly protected you from, and what I am about to open for you will be far greater than anything I ever allowed to close. My beloved child, as tomorrow draws near, I do not want your heart to become restless with endless questions about what will happen or how everything will unfold. I know your mind naturally wants every detail. You would like to see the entire path before taking the first step. You would feel more comfortable if every answer arrived before the journey began. But I have never asked my children to live by certainty that comes from sight. I have always invited them to walk with confidence that comes from knowing my heart. When you know that I am faithful, you can step forward even when you cannot yet see the destination. Tomorrow is not simply another date on a calendar. It is not just another sunrise that blends into all the others. It is the beginning of a season that I have carefully prepared for you. Do not misunderstand me. I am not saying that everything in your life will change in a single moment. Some miracles happen instantly, but many of my greatest works unfold one faithful step at a time. What begins tomorrow may appear small in human eyes, but never underestimate the power of a beginning that I have ordained. A river does not become mighty in a single instant. It begins with small streams that quietly gather strength as they continue their journey. In the same way, the change I am bringing into your life may begin with one conversation, one opportunity, one decision, one unexpected encounter, or one moment of peace that replaces months of anxiety. Do not overlook these seemingly ordinary moments, for I often wrap extraordinary blessings in ordinary appearances. Those who pay attention to my voice will recognize that I am moving even when the world sees nothing unusual. I know there is a part of you that fears disappointment. You have hoped before. You have waited before. There were seasons when you believed change was finally coming, only to find yourself facing another delay. Because of those experiences, you have learned to guard your expectations. You tell yourself not to hope too much because you fear the pain of another unmet desire. But my beloved, I do not want your past disappointments to become chains that keep you from embracing the future I am placing before you. Every new season deserves to be welcomed with fresh faith, not with old fear. Remember how the darkness always seems deepest just before dawn. The night never announces that morning is approaching. It simply gives way to the light when the appointed time arrives. Your life has followed a similar pattern. There have been moments when everything seemed uncertain, when answers felt distant, and when silence filled the spaces where you expected immediate direction. Yet even in those quiet moments, I was preparing the sunrise you could not yet see. My work never stopped simply because your eyes could not perceive it. As tomorrow begins, I want you to greet it differently than you greeted yesterday. Do not wait carrying the heavy burdens of old disappointments. Do not immediately expect failure because of what happened before. Instead, waken with a heart that whispers, "My Father is already here. He has gone before me. Whatever this day holds, I will not face it alone." That simple trust opens your heart to recognize my presence in ways that fear never could. I also want you to understand that the greatest change I desire is not merely around you, but within you. Circumstances may improve, opportunities may increase, and relationships may be restored, but the most beautiful transformation is the one that takes place inside your heart. When you begin to see yourself through my eyes instead of through your past, everything else begins to change as well. Confidence replaces insecurity. Peace overcomes anxiety. Gratitude silences complaint. Hope rises where despair once lived. This inner renewal becomes the foundation upon which every outward blessing can stand securely. Do not rush the process because you are eager to reach the destination. A gardener does not become frustrated because fruit takes time to ripen. He understands that healthy growth cannot be forced. In the same way, I ask you to trust my pace. Every lesson, every opportunity, and every step has been arranged with perfect wisdom. If something unfolds slowly, it is because I am establishing it deeply. What grows with strong roots will endure long after temporary excitement has faded. So as tomorrow approaches, lift your eyes with expectation instead of anxiety. Walk with quiet confidence instead of hurried striving. Listen carefully for my gentle voice in the ordinary moments of your day, because that is often where I choose to reveal my extraordinary plans. My beloved child, tomorrow is not the end of your waiting. It is the beginning of seeing the first signs of everything I have been preparing. Remain close to me, trust my timing, and watch with an open heart. For the seeds I planted in hidden places are about to break through the surface, and a new season of my faithfulness is ready to unfold before your eyes. My beloved child, before you can fully embrace what I am bringing into your life, there is something I gently ask you to place into my hands. It is not your strength, because I am the one who gives you strength. It is not your future, because your future has always been secure in my care. It is your fear, the quiet fear that whispers when the room grows silent, the fear that reminds you of every disappointment you have endured, the fear that tells you tomorrow may only repeat the pain of yesterday. I know that voice. I have heard it every time it tried to steal your peace. But today I want you to listen to my voice instead, because my words carry life, while fear only carries shadows. Fear has a way of making small obstacles appear like impossible mountains. It convinces you that closed doors will never open again. It tells you that because someone hurt you once, everyone will hurt you. It whispers that because one dream did not unfold as expected, every future dream is destined to fail. But fear has never spoken the truth about your life. It speaks from memories of pain, while I speak from promises of hope. Fear only knows what has happened before. I know everything that is still to come. You were never created to live as a prisoner of uncertainty. I did not breathe life into you so that every step would be controlled by worry. I created you to walk beside me, trusting that my hand is steady even when the path beneath your feet feels unfamiliar. Think of a little child holding the hand of a loving father while crossing a busy street. The child does not need to understand every direction or every danger. The child simply trusts the one who is leading. That is the kind of trust I desire to build within your heart. I know why fear has found a place in your thoughts. It has often arrived after seasons of loss. It entered when prayers seemed unanswered. It grew stronger after promises from people were broken. It settled into your heart after nights when you felt alone. But my beloved, those experiences do not define your future. They are chapters in your story, not the conclusion of it. Do not allow temporary pain to become a permanent expectation. There are moments when fear disguises itself as wisdom. It tells you that if you expect less, you will be hurt less. It tells you to build walls around your heart so disappointment cannot reach you again. Yet those same walls also keep hope from entering. They block joy. They silence peace. They make it difficult to recognize the blessings I am placing before you. I do not ask you to ignore wisdom, but I do ask you not to confuse wisdom with fear. Wisdom listens to my voice. Fear only listens to yesterday. Remember the storms you have already survived. There were days when you believed you would never recover. There were burdens that seemed impossible to carry. Yet here you are. You are still standing, not because life has been easy, but because my hand has never left you. Even when you could not feel my presence, I was strengthening you. Even when you thought you were walking alone, I was carrying you through places where your own strength would never have been enough. If I have remained faithful through every season behind you, why would I abandon you in the season ahead? When fear begins to speak, answer it with remembrance. Remember every unexpected provision I have already given you. Remember every time I opened a door you thought would remain closed forever. Remember every prayer that I answered in ways you never imagined. Even the blessings you now consider ordinary were once miracles you desperately hoped for. The roof over your head, the breath in your lungs, the strength to rise each morning, and the peace that occasionally surprises you in the middle of difficult days. These are reminders that my faithfulness has never ceased. You not believe that courage means the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to trust me even when fear tries to speak louder. Courage is taking one faithful step while your heart still has questions. Courage is lifting your eyes toward me instead of staring endlessly at the uncertainty around you. Every time you choose trust over fear, your faith grows stronger, and fear loses a little more of its influence over your heart. So today, release every anxious thought into my hands. Give me the burdens you were never created to carry alone. Lay down the worry that keeps you awake at night. Surrender the questions that have no immediate answers. I am not asking you to solve tomorrow before it arrives. I am asking you to walk into it beside me. My beloved child, fear may knock at the door of your heart, but you do not have to invite it inside. Let my peace become the voice you follow. I have already gone before you. I am walking beside you now, and I will remain with you through every tomorrow. There is no place you will ever go where my love cannot reach you, and there is no future awaiting you that my faithful hands have not already prepared. My beloved child, there is something I want you to notice as you continue walking with me. Every time you take a step forward, you are given a choice. You can keep your eyes fixed on the road I have prepared ahead, or you can constantly turn around to stare at places where you no longer belong. I know how tempting it is to keep looking behind you. The memories are familiar. The questions remain unanswered. There are moments you wish you could relive and mistakes you wish you could erase. But if you spend all your strength facing yesterday, you will struggle to recognize the beauty I am revealing today. You have carried memories that were never meant to become permanent burdens. You have replayed conversations that ended years ago, wondering if different words would have changed everything. You have thought about opportunities you missed, believing your future became smaller because of one decision. You have remembered moments of failure so often that they began to shape the way you see yourself. But my beloved, I do not define you by the chapters that have already been written. I see the story that is still unfolding. I see the pages that are still blank, waiting for my grace to write something beautiful upon them. Imagine a traveler who spends the entire journey looking only in the rearview mirror. For a little while, the road may seem clear, but eventually the traveler will miss every turn, every sign, and every opportunity waiting ahead. The past can teach you, but it cannot lead you. It can offer wisdom, but it cannot provide direction. I alone know where your path is going, and I alone can guide you safely into the future I have prepared. There are people whose words still echo in your heart. Some told you that you would never succeed. Others made you feel unwanted, forgotten, or unworthy. Even though years have passed, their voices sometimes speak louder than mine because you have allowed those old wounds to remain open. My beloved child, those voices do not carry authority over your life. I never asked them to define your identity. I formed you before anyone else had an opinion about you. I knew your worth before the world ever spoke your name. Do not continue carrying labels that I never placed upon you. There are also regrets that have quietly settled into your heart. You have wondered what life would look like if you had made different choices. You have imagined alternate paths, believing they would have brought greater happiness. But regret has a way of creating an illusion. It only shows you the imagined beauty of the road you did not take, while hiding the unseen difficulties that would have come with it. You are comparing your real life to an imaginary version that never existed. Trust me when I tell you that my wisdom has been guiding you even through moments when your own choices were imperfect. I am able to redeem what you surrendered to me. My grace is greater than your mistakes. Do not think that because you stumbled, your purpose has been lost. A child learning to walk falls many times before taking steady steps. A loving father does not reject the child because of those falls. Instead, he reaches down, lifts the child with tenderness, and encourages another step forward. That is how I have always treated you. Every time you fell, I extended my hand. Every time you doubted yourself, I remained confident in the work I began within you. I have never stopped believing in the purpose I placed inside your life. There are blessings waiting ahead that cannot be received while your hands remain tightly wrapped around yesterday. If your arms are full of old pain, it becomes difficult to embrace new joy. If your heart remains occupied by resentment, it cannot fully experience peace. If your thoughts continually return to failure, they will overlook the opportunities standing quietly before you. This is why I ask you to release what has already passed. I am not asking you to pretend the pain never existed. I am asking you to trust me enough to let me carry what has become too heavy for you. Forgiveness is one of the ways I loosen the chains of the past. Sometimes you need to forgive those who hurt you, not because their actions were acceptable, but because I do not want their actions to continue controlling your heart. Sometimes you must also forgive yourself. You have apologized to me for things that I have already forgiven, yet you continue punishing yourself long after I have extended my mercy. My beloved, when I forgive, I do not hold your past against you. Do not continue carrying a weight that I have already removed. As tomorrow unfolds, keep your eyes on the path before you instead of the footprints behind you. Every sunrise is my reminder that I create new beginnings. Every breath you take is evidence that your story is still being written. Walk forward with confidence, not because you have never failed, but because my grace has never failed you. My beloved child, the future I have prepared is too precious to be missed while you remain staring at yesterday. Lift your eyes, take my hand, and keep walking. The best chapters of your story are not behind you. By my love and my faithfulness, they are still waiting ahead. My beloved child, one of the greatest struggles of the human heart is wanting to see what only I can see. You long to know how every situation will turn out. You wonder what tomorrow will bring, who will remain by your side, which doors will open, and which path will finally lead you into the peace you have been seeking. I understand these questions because I know your heart completely. But I also know something that brings great comfort. You do not have to see everything when you are walking with the one who already does. There has never been a single moment when I have looked at your life with uncertainty. I have never been surprised by an obstacle that appeared in your path. I have never had to create a new plan because something unexpected happened. From the very beginning, I have seen every chapter of your story at once. I know where each decision leads. I know every person you will meet, every lesson you will learn, every valley you will cross, and every mountaintop where you will stand and praise me. While you experience life one day at a time, I see the beauty of the finished masterpiece. Think of a child watching someone weave a great tapestry. From underneath, the child sees loose threads, tangled knots, and colors that seem to make no sense. It looks messy. It looks unfinished. The child cannot imagine how anything beautiful could come from what appears to be confusion. but the one doing the weaving sees the design from above. Every thread has a purpose. Every color has its place. Every knot helps hold the pattern together. My beloved, many times you have judged your life from underneath the tapestry, while I have been looking at the completed design. What seems confusing to you is perfectly ordered in my hands. There have been moments when you asked me why I did not answer your prayer immediately. You wondered why I remained silent when your heart was crying out for direction. You thought my silence meant distance, but it never did. Sometimes I remain quiet because I am protecting a blessing that is still growing. If fruit is picked before it is ripe, it cannot satisfy the hunger it was meant to meet. In the same way, if I place certain blessings into your hands before the right time, they would become burdens instead of gifts. My delays are never empty. They are filled with purpose, wisdom, and love. You often focus on what is directly in front of you, but I am already working far beyond the horizon you can see. While you are praying for one opportunity, I may be preparing something far greater than you have imagined. While you are worried about one closed door, I may already be opening another that will lead you into greater peace and greater purpose. My plans are not limited by what you expect. They are shaped by my perfect knowledge of what will truly bring life to your soul. There are also battles from which I have quietly protected you without your knowledge. You have thanked me for blessings you could see, but there are countless unseen mercies surrounding your life every day. There were accidents that never happened because my hand guided your steps. There were harmful words never spoken because I softened another person's heart. There were decisions you almost made that I gently redirected without you realizing it. My care for you extends far beyond what your eyes can measure. This is why I ask you not to become discouraged when you cannot understand everything. Faith is not built upon having complete information. Faith grows when you trust my character even while many questions remain unanswered. You already know enough to trust me. Have I not carried you through difficult seasons before? Have I not comforted you in your loneliness? Have I not provided for you in ways that surprised you? Every act of my faithfulness in your past is an invitation to trust me with your future. When fear tells you that the unknown is dangerous, remember that the unknown belongs to me. Tomorrow is not a mystery to your Father. The conversations that have not yet happened, the opportunities that have not yet appeared, the challenges that have not yet arrived, and the victories that are waiting for you are already fully known to me. And nothing will enter your life without first passing beneath my loving gaze. Even when I allow trials, I never leave you to face them alone. My presence goes with you, my strength surrounds you, and my wisdom continues to guide you. So, my beloved child, release the need to understand every detail before taking the next step. You are not called to carry the map of your entire journey. You are simply called to walk faithfully with me, one step at a time. Let your heart rest in the assurance that I already see what you cannot. I know where this path leads, and I promise that my plans for you are filled with hope, purpose, and peace. Keep your eyes on me instead of on the uncertainty around you, because when you trust the one who sees the end from the beginning, you can walk into every tomorrow with quiet confidence, knowing that you are always held securely within my loving hands. My beloved child, I know there have been many moments when waiting felt heavier than the burden you were asking me to remove. You counted the days, the months, and perhaps even the years, wondering why the answer had not yet arrived. You watched others move forward while it seemed as though your own life had been placed on pause. There were times when you smiled on the outside, but inside you quietly asked, "Father, when will it be my turn?" I heard every one of those questions. Not a single whisper escaped my attention. Even when my answer seemed delayed, my love for you never was. Waiting is one of the hardest lessons for the human heart because it often feels like nothing is happening. Your eyes search for visible movement, but when they find none, your mind begins to imagine that I have become silent or distant. Yet silence is not the same as absence, and stillness is not the same as inactivity. There are seasons when the greatest work I accomplish cannot be seen with human eyes. Just because you cannot see my hands moving does not mean they have stopped working. Think about the seasons of the earth. During winter, the trees appear lifeless. Their branches stand bare against the sky, and anyone passing by might assume that growth has ended. But beneath the surface, life continues. The roots are growing deeper. Strength is being stored. Preparation is taking place in silence so that when spring arrives, the tree is ready to produce leaves, flowers, and fruit. If the tree judged itself only by what was visible, it would believe nothing was happening. Yet the hidden season is essential to the harvest that follows. In the same way, many of your delays have been hidden seasons of preparation. While you were asking me to change your circumstances, I was also changing your heart. I was teaching you patience where frustration once ruled. I was growing compassion where pain had hardened you. I was building humility where success might have created pride. These quiet transformations are treasures that will remain with you long after temporary blessings have passed. There were opportunities you thought you were ready for, but I saw that one more lesson would protect you from unnecessary sorrow. There were prayers you wanted answered immediately, but I knew that the timing would determine whether those answers became blessings or burdens. A gift received before the heart is prepared can become difficult to carry. That is why I never rush my perfect timing. I care not only about giving you what you have prayed for, but also about ensuring that you are ready to receive it with wisdom, gratitude, and peace. Do not compare your journey with the journeys of others. You see only a small part of their story, just as they see only a small part of yours. Every life unfolds according to the purpose I have designed. A gardener does not become concerned because one flower blooms before another. He knows that each plant has its own season, and every bloom is beautiful in its appointed time. In the same way, I have not forgotten your season simply because someone else's arrived first. Your blessing has never been delayed by another person's success. Sometimes I allowed you to wait because I wanted you to discover that my presence is more precious than the answer itself. If every prayer were answered the moment it left your lips, you might begin seeking only my gifts instead of seeking me. But during the waiting, you learned to lean on me. You discovered that I could comfort you even before circumstances change. You found peace in my presence while the storm still surrounded you. Those lessons are priceless because they build a relationship that no changing circumstance can ever take away. Look back over your life for a moment. Can you see how many things eventually made sense that once seemed confusing? Can you remember prayers that I answered differently than you expected, only for you to later realize my way was better? Those memories are not accidents. They are reminders of my faithfulness. They are evidence that I have always been working for your good, even when you could not understand the path I chose. As tomorrow approaches, I want you to release the belief that waiting means you are falling behind. You are exactly where I have been shaping you. Every delay has been adding strength to your spirit, wisdom to your mind, and compassion to your heart. Nothing has been wasted. Every tear has watered the soil of your future. Every moment of uncertainty has deepened your trust. Every obstacle has prepared you to recognize my hand more clearly when the answer finally appears. So lift your hand with renewed hope. Do not see your waiting as an empty season. See it as a sacred workshop where I have been carefully crafting the person you are becoming. The time you thought was being lost has actually been invested in your future. My beloved child, every delay has been working for you, not against you. While you believe you were standing still, I was building a foundation strong enough to carry the blessings that are now drawing near. Trust my timing with all your heart, because when I choose the moment to move, you will understand that not a single day of waiting was ever in vain. My beloved child, there comes a moment in every journey when what I have prepared in secret begins to appear in the light. That moment is not created by human effort, nor can it be prevented by human opposition. It arrives because I have declared that the time has come. I want you to understand this truth with all your heart. When I open a door for you, no person has the authority to close it. Opinions cannot stop it. Fear cannot cancel it. Delay cannot erase it. What I have established by my will remains secure because my power stands behind every promise I make. You have spent too much time believing that your future depends on the approval of others. You have worried that someone else's decision could destroy the purpose I placed within you. You have wondered whether missed opportunities or unfair treatment permanently changed your destiny. My beloved, lift those burdens from your shoulders. No human being is powerful enough to overturn what I have spoken over your life. People may delay your progress, misunderstand your intentions, or even oppose your path, but they cannot remove what I have lovingly prepared for you. There were seasons when I allowed certain doors to remain closed because they belonged to another chapter. Those doors served their purpose, and when their season ended, I closed them with wisdom. But now I want your heart to become expectant instead of hesitant. Do not stand staring at old entrances that no longer belong to your journey. Turn your eyes toward the path ahead, because I am already placing new opportunities before you. Some of these doors will not appear extraordinary at first. They may come through a simple conversation, an unexpected invitation, a quiet idea placed within your heart, or a connection you never anticipated. Do not overlook these moments because they seem ordinary. I often begin extraordinary transformations through ordinary acts of obedience. A single faithful step can become the doorway to an entirely new season. I also ask you not to disqualify yourself from the blessings I have prepared. Too often you have looked at your weaknesses instead of my strength. You have remembered your failures instead of my mercy. You have questioned whether you are capable enough, worthy enough, or prepared enough. But I have never chosen my children because they were perfect. I have always equipped those whom I called. If I am opening the door, I am also providing the grace, wisdom, and strength you need to walk through it. As these new opportunities begin to appear, resist the temptation to let fear keep you standing at the threshold. Fear will whisper that you are not ready. Doubt will suggest that the opportunity is too great for you. Your past may remind you of previous disappointments, but my voice speaks something different. I say that I have gone before you. I have prepared the ground beneath your feet. I have already begun arranging circumstances you cannot yet see. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone. You are stepping into a future where my presence has already arrived ahead of you. Do not become discouraged if others fail to recognize what I am doing. Not everyone will understand the work I have begun in your life. Some will only see the outward changes, while others may see nothing at all. That is not your concern. Your calling is not to convince everyone else. Your calling is to remain faithful to my voice. The more closely you walk with me, the less you will depend on the approval of those who cannot see what I have revealed to you. I also want you to remember that every open door carries responsibility. Walk through it with humility. Let gratitude remain in your heart. Treat every blessing as a gift entrusted to your care, not as something earned by your own strength. When you honor me with what I place in your hands, I will continue leading you from one season of faithfulness into another. So today, prepare your heart with expectation, Stop speaking as though your best days have already passed. Stop believing that your story has reached its highest point. I am still writing. I am still leading. I am still making a way where none seemed possible. My beloved child, the doors I am opening are not temporary moments of excitement, but invitations into the purpose I have been preparing for you all along. Walk forward with confidence, because what I open by my hand will remain open according to my perfect will, and no force on earth can overturn the plans I have lovingly established for your life. As you step through the doors I am opening, remember that I also invite you to help open doors of hope for others who are still searching for my voice. Every gift you sow into this mission becomes a seed that carries my light into hearts waiting in darkness. I speak my living promise over you. Give, and it will be given to you, not as distant words, but as my invitation to experience my faithfulness in a deeper way. When you respond with generosity, you become part of the harvest I am preparing across nations, reaching souls you may never meet until eternity. I have placed this opportunity before you because I delight in working through willing hearts that trust me. Do not delay when I stir your spirit, for your obedience today can become another person's answered prayer tomorrow. Let your offering be like oil that keeps the lamp burning, like living water that refreshes the weary, and like seed that produces a harvest beyond what human eyes can measure. I bless every cheerful giver with renewed peace, unexpected provision, fresh strength, and joy that overflows into every area of life. You can support this mission through Super Thanks by becoming a channel member, or through the PayPal donation link provided in the video description and the QR code shown in this video. Let your generosity become a testimony of my love reaching countless lives. Rise now, sow your seed with faith, and become part of the work I am doing throughout the world. My beloved child, now that your heart is becoming ready for the new season I have prepared, I want to teach you something that will protect your faith. Do not despise small beginnings. The world often celebrates what is loud, immediate, and impressive, but I delight in growing great things from humble starts. Many of my greatest works begin so quietly that those looking only for dramatic signs fail to recognize my hand. Yet those who walk closely with me learn to treasure every small step, because they understand that each one carries the promise of something far greater. You have prayed for breakthrough, and I have heard every word. But sometimes you imagine that breakthrough must arrive all at once, changing everything overnight. My beloved, there are moments when I move suddenly, but there are also seasons when I choose to build your blessing piece by piece. I do this not because I lack power, but because I love you enough to establish your life on a firm foundation. What is built slowly with wisdom often stands longer than what appears quickly without preparation. Think of the sunrise. It does not burst into the sky in a single instant. First, the darkness begins to soften. Then a faint light appears along the horizon. Little by little, the world is filled with brightness until everything can be seen clearly. In the same way, the change I have promised may begin with what seems like only a small ray of hope. Do not mistake that gentle beginning for a small future. It is the first evidence that the night is giving way to the morning I have prepared for you. Perhaps tomorrow brings a conversation that opens your heart to new possibilities. Perhaps it brings peace where anxiety once lived. Perhaps it brings an idea that grows into something greater over time. Perhaps it brings a friendship that becomes a source of encouragement for years to come. These moments may seem ordinary at first, but never underestimate what I can accomplish through one faithful beginning. I am the God who multiplies what is placed into my hands. I do not measure value by size. I measure it by purpose. There have been times when you overlooked blessings because they did not arrive in the form you expected. You prayed for a great opportunity, but I sent a simple assignment. You prayed for a miracle, but I gave you the strength to take one more step. You prayed for immediate answers, but I offered daily guidance instead. Looking back, you can now see that those small gifts became the very things that carried you through difficult seasons. What seemed insignificant at the time became essential to your growth. Do not compare the beginning of your journey with the middle of someone else's. It is easy to become discouraged when you see others enjoying fruit while you are still planting seeds. But every harvest begins beneath the surface where no one applauds. Every strong tree once appeared as a fragile seed hidden in the ground. If that seed had compared itself to the full-grown tree beside it, it might have believed it would never become anything meaningful. Yet I had already placed within it everything needed to grow. My beloved, I have placed within you gifts, strength, wisdom, and purpose that will unfold in their appointed season. When I place something small in your hands, receive it with gratitude instead of disappointment. Care for it faithfully. Whether it is a new opportunity, a quiet responsibility, a single relationship, or a simple act of obedience, treat it as something sacred. Faithfulness in little things prepares your heart for greater responsibilities. I watch how you care for what seems ordinary, because it reveals the condition of your heart. A grateful heart finds joy in every gift, while an impatient heart overlooks today's blessing while chasing tomorrow's dream. Do not allow impatience to convince you that nothing important is happening. Every day you choose trust over fear, your faith grows stronger. Every time you respond with kindness instead of bitterness, your character becomes more like mine. Every act of obedience, no matter how unnoticed by the world, becomes another stone in the foundation I am building beneath your life. The greatest miracles are often the result of countless faithful moments that seem too small to matter at the time. So I ask you today to celebrate every sign of my work, no matter how modest it appears. Rejoice over every answered prayer, even if it comes differently than you imagined. Give thanks for every open door, even if it seems smaller than the one you hoped for. Treasure every lesson, every opportunity, and every peaceful moment I place before you. My beloved child, never forget that I specialize in beginning with what appears small so that my glory may be revealed through what it becomes. Stay faithful to the little things I entrust to you today, because they are the seeds of the miracles you have been praying to see. In my perfect time, those humble beginnings will grow into testimonies that will remind you forever that nothing placed in my hands is ever too small to become something extraordinary. My beloved child, as you continue walking toward the future I have prepared, there is another quiet visitor you must learn to recognize. It does not always arrive with loud fear or obvious worry. Sometimes it comes disguised as endless questions, constant hesitation, or the feeling that you will never be enough. This visitor is doubt. It whispers softly, hoping you will believe its voice more than mine. It does not need to shout because it knows that even a small seed of uncertainty, if left untouched, can grow into a barrier that keeps you from stepping into the blessings I have already prepared. I have watched the moments when doubt entered your thoughts. It came after disappointments. It came after prayers that seemed unanswered. It came after people broke promises they made to you. Slowly, doubt tried to convince you that if others could fail you, perhaps I would fail you too. But my beloved, I am not like the world. Human promises may be broken, but my word stands forever. People's affection may change with circumstances, but my love for you remains constant through every season. There have been days when you questioned whether you heard my voice correctly. You wondered if the hope growing in your heart was only your imagination. You questioned whether the dreams I placed within you were too great to become reality. Yet remember this: I am not the author of confusion. When I guide you, I also provide peace, even if every detail has not yet been revealed. Doubt creates endless circles that lead nowhere. My guidance always moves you forward, one faithful step at a time. Imagine a traveler walking through a valley covered in morning mist. The traveler cannot see the entire road ahead. Only the next few steps are visible. If the traveler refuses to move until every mile becomes clear, the journey will never begin. But if the traveler trusts the path and continues walking, the mist gradually lifts with every step. This is how faith often works. I rarely reveal the whole journey at once because I desire your trust to grow with each step you take beside me. If you could already see everything, you would depend on your own understanding instead of resting in my wisdom. Doubt also has another habit. It asks you to judge tomorrow by yesterday's disappointments. It reminds you of every time you failed. It replays painful memories until they seem stronger than my promises. It tells you that because something did not happen before, it will never happen. But doubt forgets one important truth. I am always able to create something new. I am not limited by your history. I am not restricted by past circumstances. I am the one who brings streams into deserts, hope into broken hearts, and light into places where darkness believed it would remain forever. When doubt begins speaking, answer it by remembering my faithfulness. Think about every season when I carried you through challenges you believed would overcome you. Remember the unexpected provision that arrived when you thought there was no way forward. Recall the peace that filled your heart in moments when nothing around you had changed. Those experiences were not coincidences. They were reminders that I have always been working on your behalf, even when you could not see my hand. Guard your thoughts carefully, my beloved. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you allow to remain there will eventually grow. If you continually water thoughts of fear and uncertainty, they will produce anxiety and discouragement. But when you fill your heart with my promises, gratitude, and truth, hope begins to flourish. This does not mean you will never have questions. It means you will learn where to take those questions. Bring them to me instead of allowing them to become silent burdens you carry alone. Do not confuse waiting for certainty with walking my faith. Faith is not pretending that challenges do not exist. Faith is choosing to trust me while facing those challenges. It is believing that my wisdom is greater than your understanding. It is resting in the confidence that my love is not determined by your circumstances but by my unchanging character. Every step of trust weakens the voice of doubt and strengthens your relationship with me. As tomorrow continues to unfold, refuse to let doubt become the storyteller of your future. Let my promises shape your expectations instead. Wake each morning expecting my presence before expecting problems. Look for my fingerprints in ordinary moments. Listen for my gentle voice above every fearful thought. Remember that I have never abandoned you, and I never will. My beloved child, your future is not being written by doubt. It is being written by my faithful hand. Hold tightly to my promises, even when the path ahead is still unfolding, because the hope I have placed within you is stronger than every question that tries to stand against it. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that I am leading you into a tomorrow that doubt could never imagine, but that my love has already prepared. My beloved child, before I lead you fully into the new season I have prepared, there is a work I desire to complete within your heart. I do not want you to carry old wounds into the future I have planned for you. I know there are places inside you that still ache when certain memories return. There are names that still stir emotions you thought had disappeared. There are moments you rarely speak about because the pain feels too deep for words. Even when others cannot see those hidden places, I see them clearly. I have never looked away from your wounds, and I have never considered them too great for my healing. You have become skilled at hiding your pain. You learned how to smile while carrying sorrow. You discovered how to encourage others even when your own heart was weary. You continued fulfilling your responsibilities, while silently hoping someone would notice that you were struggling. But my beloved, you have never needed to hide anything from me. I knew every tear before it touched your face. I heard every cry that remained locked inside your heart. I was present in every lonely night when you wondered if anyone truly understood what you were feeling. Some of your deepest wounds were not caused by strangers. They came from people you trusted. They came from those whose words mattered most to you. Perhaps it was a promise that was broken, kindness that suddenly disappeared, or love that seemed to change without warning. Those experiences left questions that have lingered in your heart. You wondered what you did wrong. You questioned your worth. You wondered if you were somehow unworthy of lasting love. My beloved child, listen carefully to me now. The actions of others have never determined your value. Your worth has always rested in the fact that I created you. I know you completely, and I love you without condition. There are wounds that time alone cannot heal. Time may soften memories, but only my love can restore what was broken deep within your soul. Healing is not pretending that the pain never existed. Healing is allowing me to enter the places where pain once ruled and replacing despair with my peace. I do not erase your story. Instead, I redeem it. I transform places of sorrow into testimonies of my faithfulness. The scars may remain as reminders of where you have been, but they no longer have the power to define who you are. Think of a potter shaping clay upon a wheel. Sometimes the clay becomes cracked or misshapen during the process. A careless potter might throw it away, believing it has no future. But I am not a careless potter. When I see what has been damaged, I gently reshape it with patient hands. I add fresh water where the clay has become dry. I continue molding it until it reflects the beautiful design I intended from the beginning. That is how I work within your heart. I do not discard you because you have been hurt. I restore you because my love is greater than every wound. I know there are moments when the pain unexpectedly returns. A familiar place, a certain song, or a simple conversation awakens memories you believed were gone. Do not become discouraged when this happens. Healing is often like the rising of the dawn. The darkness does not disappear all at once. The light gradually grows stronger until the night no longer has any power. In the same way, my peace continues increasing within you every time you choose to trust me instead of your pain. There may also be someone you still struggle to forgive. I understand how difficult that can feel. Forgiveness does not mean declaring that what happened was acceptable. It means choosing not to allow yesterday's injury to continue controlling today's peace. When you forgive, you are not excusing the wrong. You are placing justice into my hands instead of carrying bitterness in your own. I know how to deal with every heart, every action, and every hidden motive. You can release the burden because I am the righteous judge who sees what no one else can see. Do not forget to extend that same grace to yourself. You have spent too much time replaying your own mistakes. You have held yourself captive over decisions that I have already forgiven. My beloved, if I have chosen to cover your failures with my mercy, why do you continue uncovering them with your own thoughts? Accept the forgiveness I freely give you. Walk in the freedom that my love has purchased. Do not remain in a prison whose door I have already opened. As tomorrow draws nearer, I want you to move forward with a lighter heart. Leave the weight of old pain at my feet. Allow my peace to settle into every place where fear, rejection, and sorrow once lived. I am not merely repairing what was broken. I am creating something even more beautiful through it. The compassion you now carry, the wisdom you have gained, and the strength that has grown within you are all evidence that I have been working even in your deepest pain. My beloved child, I am healing what hurt you, not only so that you may find peace again, but so that your restored heart may become a source of hope, comfort, and light for others who are still waiting to discover the healing power of my unfailing love. My beloved child, as I continue leading you into this new season, I want you to understand that the changes taking place are not happening only within you. They are also unfolding around you. Just as I have been preparing your heart, I have been moving in the lives of others. Some relationships are being strengthened. Some are being gently brought to a close. New connections are quietly being arranged. None of this is happening by accident. My hand is at work in ways that you cannot fully see, weaving together lives and moments according to my perfect wisdom. There were times when you believed every relationship would last forever. You trusted that certain people would walk beside you through every season. But as the years passed, you watched some of them drift away. The conversations became less frequent. The closeness slowly faded. Some departures happened without explanation, leaving you with questions that seemed to have no answers. My beloved, I know how deeply those moments hurt. I know how painful it is when someone who once stood close to your heart no longer walks beside you. Yet I ask you not to see every ending as a sign of loss. Sometimes an ending is simply my way of making room for a beginning you could not yet imagine. Just as the seasons change, relationships also have seasons. A tree does not keep every leaf throughout the entire year. When autumn comes, certain leaves fall away, not because the tree is dying, but because it is preparing for new growth. If the tree clung to every old leaf, it would struggle to receive the fresh ones that spring would bring. In the same way, there are relationships that fulfilled their purpose in one chapter of your life but were never meant to continue into the next. Releasing them is not always easy, but it often creates the space necessary for the blessings I am preparing. Do not mistake distance for abandonment. There are moments when I lovingly separate you from certain influences because I know they can no longer support the direction in which I am leading you. Some people were comfortable with the person you used to be, but they cannot understand the person you are becoming. As I transform your heart, your values begin to change. Your desires become different. The conversations that once filled your time no longer satisfy your spirit. This does not make you better than anyone else. It simply means I am guiding you toward a purpose that requires different companions for the next part of your journey. There are also people I am preparing to bring into your life. Perhaps you have not met them yet. Perhaps they are already nearby, and the right moment has not yet arrived. These are individuals who will encourage your faith, strengthen your courage, and remind you of my goodness when your own strength begins to fade. They will not be perfect, just as you are not perfect, but they will become part of the story I am writing. Trust that I know exactly who belongs in your life and exactly when each connection should take place. I also ask you to examine the influence you have on others. While you have been praying for faithful companions, I have also been shaping you into someone who brings hope wherever you go. Let your words become a source of comfort instead of discouragement. Let your actions reflect my kindness. Let your presence remind others that they are seen, valued, and loved. The relationships I bless are often built upon hearts that have learned to give the same grace they hope to receive. There may be people who misunderstand the changes happening within you. They may question why you no longer chase the same things you once pursued. They may not understand your desire for peace, your commitment to truth, or your growing dependence upon me. Do not become discouraged by this. Not everyone will understand the work I am doing in your heart while it is still unfolding. A seed hidden beneath the soil appears unchanged to those passing by, yet life is already growing within it. In the same way, my work inside you may not yet be visible to everyone around you, but that does not make it any less real. Guard your heart against bitterness when relationships change. It is easy to become resentful when someone walks away or fails to appreciate your love. But bitterness only keeps your heart tied to the pain of yesterday. I desire something better for you. I want your heart to remain open, gentle, and full of compassion. Continue loving without becoming hardened. Continue showing kindness without expecting perfection from others. The love I have placed within you becomes stronger, not weaker, when it is rooted in my presence instead of human expectations. As tomorrow continues to unfold, trust that every relationship in your life is being guided by my wisdom. Those who are meant to walk with you will arrive in the right season. Those whose purpose has been fulfilled will gently fade according to my timing. You do not need to force anyone to remain, nor do you need to chase those I have already released. Walk confidently beside me, and I will surround you with the people needed for every chapter ahead. My beloved child, I am not only changing your circumstances, I am also arranging the hearts, lives, and relationships around you so that everything works together according to the beautiful purpose I have lovingly prepared for your future. My beloved child, one of the greatest gifts you can give me is your willingness to trust my timing even when it does not match your own. I know this is not always easy. Your heart longs for answers, your mind searches for certainty, and your spirit eagerly waits for the fulfillment of the promises I have placed within you. There have been moments when you wished I would move faster, when you wondered why the breakthrough had not yet arrived, and when you questioned whether the waiting would ever end. I have heard every one of those silent prayers. I have never been offended by your questions because I know they come from a heart that longs to walk with me. But today I want to teach you why my timing is one of the greatest expressions of my love. When you were a child, there were things you wanted immediately. You may have reached for things that looked beautiful but were not yet safe to hold. A loving parent does not grant every request the moment it is made. Not because the child is unloved, but because the parent sees what the child cannot yet understand. In the same way, I have sometimes asked you to wait, not to frustrate your heart, but to protect your future. What feels like delay to you is often my careful preparation for something that will bless you far beyond this present moment. There is a rhythm woven into all of creation. The sun rises at its appointed time and sets without hurry. The seasons change with quiet faithfulness. Seeds planted in the earth do not rush to become trees overnight. Rain falls when the ground is ready to receive it, and fruit ripens only after it has been nourished with patience. None of creation worries about whether my timing is right because everything I have made follows the order I established. My beloved, I invite you to find rest in that same confidence. Just as I care for the fields, the forests, the oceans, and the stars, I also care for every detail of your life. Sometimes you believe that if something has not happened yet, it never will. That is because your perspective is shaped by time, while mine is shaped by eternity. You count days and months. I see generations. You see one chapter. I see the complete story. What appears late from your point of view may actually be arriving at the exact moment when every piece has fallen into place according to my perfect wisdom. Think about an artist creating a beautiful painting. If someone interrupted the work halfway through, they might believe the painting was incomplete or even confusing. They would not understand why certain colors seemed out of place or why parts of the canvas remained unfinished. But the artist knows the final vision from the very beginning. Every brushstroke has a purpose, even when it does not yet make sense to those watching. My beloved child, your life is like that masterpiece. Do not judge my work before I have finished it. Trust the artist who already knows what the completed picture will reveal. I know that waiting has tested your patience. There have been nights when you asked, "Father, why not now?" You looked at opportunities that passed by and wondered whether you had missed your chance. You watched others celebrate blessings while your own prayer still seemed unanswered. Yet my love for you has never been measured by how quickly I answered. My love is revealed in the wisdom with which I answer. If I withheld something, it was because I saw what you could not. If I opened a different door, it was because I had something better prepared beyond it. Do not let impatience tempt you to create what only I can establish. There is a difference between moving forward in faith and rushing ahead without my guidance. When you force open doors that I have not opened, you often find yourself carrying burdens that were never meant to be yours. But when you wait upon me, I strengthen your heart, sharpen your discernment, and prepare you to receive my blessings with gratitude rather than anxiety. My timing always includes the grace needed for the season into which I am leading you. As tomorrow approaches, I want you to release the pressure of trying to control every outcome. You do not need to know the exact hour when every promise will be fulfilled. You simply need to know the one who made the promise. Let that be enough for your heart. Rest in the assurance that I have never forgotten a single word I have spoken over your life. My promises do not expire because time has passed. They remain alive, held securely within my faithful hands until the appointed moment arrives. So walk forward with peace instead of urgency. Celebrate each step rather than constantly measuring how far remains. Trust that every delay has carried purpose, every season has carried growth, and every moment has been woven together by my perfect wisdom. My beloved child, my timing has never failed, and it never will. The future I have prepared for you is not arriving too early or too late. It is coming exactly when your heart is ready, when the path is prepared, and when my glory will shine most brightly through your life. Until that moment fully unfolds, continue walking beside me with confidence, knowing that the one who holds time in his hands is faithfully holding you as well. My beloved child, I know there have been days when you wondered how much longer you could keep going. You carried responsibilities that seemed heavier than your strength. You smiled when others looked at you, yet inside you felt exhausted. There were mornings when simply getting out of bed felt like a victory. There were nights when you lay awake, asking me for just enough strength to face one more day. My beloved, every one of those prayers reached my heart. I was not distant from your weariness. I was closer than your next breath, quietly sustaining you when your own strength was no longer enough. You have often believed that strength means never feeling weak. The world teaches you to hide your struggles, to appear unshaken, and to carry every burden without asking for help. But that is not the strength I desire for you. True strength is not pretending that you have no limits. True strength is knowing where to turn when you reach those limits. Every time you brought your weakness to me instead of surrendering to despair, you displayed a courage far greater than the world could understand. Think of a mighty river. It does not remain full because of its own effort. It is constantly supplied by streams flowing into it from unseen places. If those hidden sources stopped flowing, the river would eventually become dry. In the same way, your soul was never meant to depend only upon your own abilities. I created you to draw continually from my presence. My peace renews what anxiety has drained. My love restores what disappointment has weakened. My spirit strengthens what the trials of life have exhausted. There were seasons when you believed you had reached the end of your strength, yet somehow you continued moving forward. You may have thought it was determination or resilience that carried you, but I tell you today that it was my hand beneath yours. When your heart was too tired to hope, I held hope for you. When your mind became overwhelmed with questions, I remained steady. When your feet felt too weak to take another step, I quietly lifted you through moments you barely remember surviving. You are still here because my faithfulness hath been sustaining you every step of the way. You not be ashamed of the moments when you cried out to me. Your tears have never been signs of failure in my eyes. They have often been the language of a heart that trusted me enough to be honest. I would rather hear your wearied prayer than your silent despair. I would rather you lean upon me than pretend you are strong enough without me. A child does not become weaker by reaching for the hand of a loving father. The child becomes safer. In the same way, every time you reach toward me, you are placing yourself in the care of the one whose strength never fades. I know there are battles you have fought quietly. Others saw your smile but never knew the weight you carried inside. They did not hear the conversations you had with me in the silence of the night. They did not see the courage it took simply to keep believing when circumstances gave you every reason to give up. But I sought everything. I counted every act of faithfulness. I treasured every moment when you chose hope instead of surrender. None of your perseverance had been unnoticed. Now I want you to receive fresh strength, not merely enough to survive, but enough to move forward with confidence. I am breathing new courage into your heart. The burdens that once seemed impossible will no longer define your days. This does not mean every challenge will disappear overnight. It means you will no longer face those challenges with the same exhausted spirit. I am renewing your inner strength so that peace will stand where fear once ruled and confidence will replace discouragement. There will be moments ahead when you are tempted to rely entirely upon your own understanding again. When that temptation comes, remember this truth: you do not have to carry tomorrow before tomorrow arrives. I give strength for each day as it comes. I provide grace for today's journey, not for imagined burdens that may never appear. When you focus on everything at once, your heart becomes overwhelmed. But when you walk with me one step at a time, you discover that my strength is always sufficient for the moment you are living. So lift your head, my beloved child. Straighten your shoulders, not because life has become easy, but because you are no longer carrying it alone. Let my peace settle deeply within you. Let my joy become your quiet confidence. Let my presence remind you that every new morning carries fresh mercy and new strength prepared especially for you. You are not running on the last of your own endurance anymore. I am filling your heart again. I am restoring what has been drained. I am renewing your spirit from the inside out. As you continue walking into the future I have prepared, do not measure your ability by yesterday's weakness. Measure it by my unchanging power. My beloved child, I am the one who renews the weary, strengthens the faint-hearted, and lifts those who feel they cannot rise again. The road ahead may still have challenges, but you will not walk it with an empty heart. I am giving you new strength for every step, new hope for every sunrise, and new courage for every tomorrow. Remain close to me, and you will discover that the strength I provide is greater than every obstacle that stands before you. My beloved child, in a world filled with endless noise, I am calling you to become familiar with the sound of my voice. Every day, countless voices compete for your attention. Some speak through fear. Some speak through pride. Others speak through disappointment, anxiety, or the opinions of people who do not truly know your heart. If you are not careful, those voices will become so loud that you will struggle to recognize the gentle whisper with which I have always spoken to you. That is why I invite you to draw near to me, not only when you need answers, but because my presence is where your heart finds its true direction. I have never stopped speaking to you. There were moments when you believed heaven had become silent, but my silence was never the absence of my love. Sometimes I spoke through the peace that settled over your heart when no logical explanation existed. Sometimes I spoke through an unexpected delay that protected you from unseen harm. Sometimes I spoke through a kind word from another person, through the beauty of creation, or through a quiet conviction that gently redirected your steps. I have many ways of reaching my children, but my voice always carries the same character. It leads with love, truth, wisdom, and peace. The voices of fear often demand immediate action. They urge you to hurry, to panic, or to make decisions based on pressure rather than trust. But my voice does not push you into confusion. I guide you with clarity, even if I reveal only the next step. I do not overwhelm you with every detail of tomorrow. Instead, I provide the light you need for today. That light is enough because I am walking beside you. Think of a shepherd leading his flock through unfamiliar hills. The sheep do not carry maps of the journey. They do not know every turn in the path. What gives them confidence is not their understanding of the road, but their familiarity with the shepherd's voice. When they hear that familiar call, they know they are safe to follow. My beloved, I desire that same confidence to grow within you. I want my voice to become more familiar than your fears, more trustworthy than your doubts, and more comforting than the uncertainty surrounding you. There have been times when you asked me to reveal the entire future, but I lovingly chose not to. It was not because I wished to keep you in darkness. It was because I knew that if you saw every challenge ahead, your heart might become discouraged before the journey even began. Instead, I have chosen to reveal my faithfulness one step at a time. Each day you walk with me becomes another reminder that I am worthy of your trust. Every answered prayer, every unexpected provision, and every moment of peace strengthens your confidence in my guidance. Learning to hear my voice also requires learning to be still. I know your days are often filled with responsibilities, conversations, and distractions. Your mind races from one concern to another, leaving little room for quiet reflection. Yet some of the most precious moments we share happen when you pause long enough to simply be with me. I do not always shout above the noise because I desire a relationship, not merely attention. When you intentionally create space for me, your heart becomes more sensitive to my gentle leading. Do not become discouraged if you sometimes struggle to discern my direction. Every relationship grows through time spent together. Just as close friends recognize one another's voices even in a crowded room, your ability to recognize my guidance will grow as you continue walking with me. Be patient with yourself. I am a loving father, not a harsh judge waiting for you to make a mistake. If your heart sincerely desires to follow me, I am more than able to guide your steps, even when you feel uncertain. There will also be moments when my instructions challenge your understanding. I may ask you to forgive when resentment feels easier. I may ask you to wait when everything within you wants to rush ahead. I may lead you toward opportunities that seem too small or too difficult according to human wisdom. In those moments, remember that my perspective reaches far beyond your own. What appears confusing today often becomes clear tomorrow. Trust that my wisdom is always working for your good, even when the reasons remain hidden for a season. As you move forward into the days ahead, guard your heart against the voices that pull you away from peace. Measure every thought against the character of my love. If a voice fills you with hopelessness, constant fear, or condemnation, know that it does not come from me. My correction brings growth, never despair. My guidance brings peace, never confusion. My love always calls you closer, never pushes you away. So, my beloved child, quiet your heart and listen carefully. I am speaking even now. I am reminding you that you are not alone, that your future is secure in my hands, and that every step you take beside me is leading you exactly where you need to be. Let my voice become the compass that directs your life. Trust it above every anxious thought and every uncertain circumstance. As you continue to follow my gentle leading, you will discover that I have been guiding you all along, and my voice will always lead you toward hope, purpose, peace, and the abundant life I have lovingly prepared for you. My beloved child, there have been many times when you believed you had to carry every burden by yourself. You looked at the challenges before you and measured them against your own strength. You examined your resources, your abilities, and your understanding, and you wondered how you could possibly overcome what stood in your way. I saw those moments. I saw the weight pressing upon your shoulders. I heard the silent prayers you could barely speak because your heart had grown so weary. Today I want you to hear this truth deeply within your spirit. You were never meant to fight your battles alone. From the beginning, I have walked beside you. Even when you could not sense my presence, I remained closer than your next breath. There were days when you believed you had survived because of your determination, your wisdom, or your endurance. But my beloved, there were countless moments when my unseen hand was protecting you in ways you never realized. I strengthened you when your own strength had reached its limit. I opened paths that you could not have discovered on your own. I stood between you and dangers you never even knew existed. My care has surrounded you every moment of your journey. There is a temptation that often comes during difficult seasons. It whispers that everything depends upon you. It tells you that if you do not solve every problem immediately, everything will fall apart. This voice fills your heart with pressure until peace becomes difficult to find. But that burden was never mine for you to carry. I did not create you to bear the weight of the entire journey upon your own shoulders. I created you to walk with me, trusting that I would carry what is too heavy for you. Imagine a young child trying to lift a burden far beyond his strength, while his loving father stands beside him with open arms. The father does not watch with indifference. He gently kneels beside the child and says, "Let me carry what you cannot." Yet sometimes the child continues struggling because he believes asking for help is a sign of weakness. My beloved child, depending upon me is never weakness. It is wisdom. It is trust. It is the way I designed our relationship from the very beginning. There are battles that belong to your obedience, and there are battles that belong to my power. Your responsibility is to remain faithful, to walk in love, to choose truth, and to trust my guidance. My responsibility is to accomplish what only I can do. Do not confuse these two. You are not called to control every outcome. You are not called to change every heart or force every door to open. Those things rest safely within my hands. Your peace begins when you stop trying to carry responsibilities that belong to me alone. I know you have wrestled with situations that seemed impossible. There were relationships you could not repair by yourself. There were circumstances beyond your control. There were moments when no amount of planning or effort could create the answer you longed for. Those experiences were not meant to teach you hopelessness. They were invitations to discover that my power begins where human ability reaches its end. When you finally release what you cannot control, you make room for me to work in ways that would never have been possible through your own effort. Do not think that surrender means giving up. Surrender is not the abandonment of hope. It is the placing of hope into stronger hands than your own. It is saying, "Father, I trust that you see what I cannot see. I trust that you know what I do not know. I trust that your wisdom is greater than my understanding." That kind of surrender does not weaken your faith. It strengthens it because it shifts your confidence away from your limitations and toward my limitless power. There will still be moments when fear tries to return. It will remind you of the size of the problem. It will encourage you to focus on everything that could go wrong. When those thoughts come, gently turn your attention back to me. Problems grow larger when they become the center of your vision. But when you keep your eyes upon me, you begin to remember that no challenge is greater than the one who walks beside you. The mountain may remain the same size, but your confidence grows because you remember who your Father is. As tomorrow continues unfolding, I want you to walk with lighter steps. Release the pressure to have every answer before the next sunrise. Lay your worries at my feet before they become burdens upon your heart. Trust that I am already working behind the scenes in places you cannot reach. I am softening hearts, ranging circumstances, opening doors, and protecting your path even when everything appears still. My work is often invisible before it becomes visible, but it is never absent. So rest, my beloved child, not because every battle has already disappeared, but because you no longer face those battles alone. I go before you, I stand beside you, and I remain behind you as your protector. My strength surrounds your weakness, my wisdom guides your decisions, and my love steadies your heart through every storm. The battle is not yours alone. It never has been. As long as you continue walking with me, you will never face a single challenge without the presence, power, and faithfulness of your loving Father carrying you through it. My beloved child, there are moments in life when loss feels so final that you begin to believe nothing beautiful could ever grow in that place again. You look at the empty spaces left behind by broken dreams, missed opportunities, lost relationships, and seasons that slipped through your hands, and you quietly tell yourself that part of my life is over. I know those thoughts because I have heard them in the silence of your heart. I have watched you grieve things that others never even knew you lost. I have seen the dreams you buried without telling anyone because you no longer believed they could live again. But today I want to remind you that I am the God of restoration, and what appears beyond recovery to human eyes is never beyond my power. Do not misunderstand me. Restoration does not always mean returning every circumstance exactly as it once was. My purpose is greater than simply recreating the past. I do not call you backward into old seasons. I lead you forward into something redeemed, something purified, something richer with wisdom than before. Sometimes I restore by returning what was taken. Sometimes I restore by giving something far greater than what was lost. In every case, my restoration carries my love, my purpose, and my perfect understanding of what your heart truly needs. There have been times when you believed you had lost precious years. You looked back and wondered if time had been wasted. You questioned whether the mistakes you made had permanently changed the future I intended for you. Perhaps you thought, if only I had chosen differently. If only I had started sooner. If only I had known then what I know now. My beloved child, do not let regret convince you that my grace is limited by your past. I am not bound by the years you believe were lost. I know how to weave even your failures into a testimony of my faithfulness. Think about a forest after a wildfire. At first, everything appears lifeless. The trees are blackened, the ground is covered with ashes, and it seems impossible that beauty could ever return. Yet hidden beneath the surface, life remains. In time, fresh green shoots begin to rise from the very ground that looked ruined. A new growth appears where destruction once stood. The forest is not pretending the fire never happened. Instead, it becomes living proof that life is stronger than devastation. In the same way, I am able to bring new life into places where you believed only ashes remained. Perhaps you have lost confidence because of repeated disappointments. You once believed in yourself, but after enough setbacks, you began to question your own abilities. My beloved, your confidence was never meant to rest upon your own strength alone. I desire your confidence to be rooted in my faithfulness. Human strength rises and falls with circumstances, but my power never changes. When you place your trust in me instead of in your own perfection, you discover a confidence that cannot be shaken by temporary failures. There are relationships you still think about. Some ended through misunderstanding. Others ended through distance, pain, or choices that neither you nor anyone else can undo. I know every detail of those stories. I know the tears you cried after the conversations ended. I know the silence that followed. While I do not promise that every relationship will return exactly as it was, I do promise this: no love you have genuinely given is ever wasted in my hands. I use every experience to shape your heart with greater compassion, deeper wisdom, and stronger discernment. And when it serves my purpose, I am fully able to restore what seemed permanently broken. There are dreams you quietly set aside because waiting became too painful. You convinced yourself they were unrealistic or impossible. But I ask you today to bring those dreams back into my presence. Not every dream should be pursued, but neither should every dream be buried simply because it encountered difficulty. Let me show you which hopes were planted by my spirit and which were only passing desires. The dreams that come from me carry life. They may rest for a season, but they do not die while they remain in my hands. Do not confuse delay with denial. Many things you thought were gone forever have simply been waiting for the appointed time. Just as seeds remain hidden beneath the soil before they break through into the light, my promises often continue growing where human eyes cannot see them. Your waiting has not been empty. Beneath the surface, I have been preparing the right season, the right circumstances, and even the right condition of your own heart so that what I restore will become a lasting blessing. As you move forward into tomorrow, release the belief that your greatest opportunities belong only to your past. Do not build your life around memories of what once was while overlooking what I am doing today. Lift your eyes with fresh expectation. The story I am writing has not reached its conclusion. There are still chapters filled with hope, healing, joy, and purpose waiting to unfold. My beloved child, I specialize in bringing life where others see endings. I restore peace where fear once lived. I restore hope where disappointment settled. I restore strength where weariness took hold. Trust me with every loss you have carried, because nothing surrendered into my loving hands is beyond redemption. What you believed was gone forever may become the very place where my greatest faithfulness is revealed, and you will one day look back with gratitude, realizing that my restoration exceeded everything you ever imagined possible. My beloved child, there are burdens you have carried for so long that you no longer remember what it feels like to live without them. They have become so familiar that you almost mistake them for a part of who you are. You have learned to function while carrying invisible weight. You have continued smiling while your heart quietly struggled beneath responsibilities, worries, disappointments, and fears that no one else could see. Others looked at you and assumed you were strong because you kept moving forward. But I have always seen beyond your outward appearance. I have seen the hidden weight pressing against your spirit, and today I want you to know that I never intended for you to carry it alone. Some of these burdens were placed upon you by circumstances beyond your control. Life changed without your permission. Loss arrived unexpectedly. Responsibilities increased before you felt ready. You accepted them because you believed you had no other choice. Over time, those responsibilities became heavy, and your heart grew tired. Yet you continued telling yourself that you simply had to endure. My beloved, endurance has its place, but so does surrender. Here is a difference between faithfully carrying what I have given you and carrying burdens that I have been asking you to release into my hands. Other burdens were not created by circumstances but by the thoughts you carried within your own heart. You have worried about things that never happened. You have replayed conversations that cannot be changed. You have imagined worst-case scenarios until they felt more real than my promises. Anxiety has a way of convincing you that if you think about every possible problem long enough, you will somehow be prepared for it. But worry has never added peace to your heart. It has only stolen the joy I desired for today. There is also the burden of trying to meet everyone's expectations. You have spent seasons wondering whether you were doing enough, giving enough, or becoming enough. You feared disappointing people whose opinions seemed important. You stretched yourself beyond healthy limits because you wanted to earn acceptance that I had already freely given you. My beloved child, you do not have to prove your worth through endless striving. Your value has never been measured by how much you accomplish. Your worth has always rested in the simple truth that you are my beloved child. Imagine a traveler carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones collected from every difficult season. At first, each stone seemed small enough to carry. One represented disappointment. Another represented guilt. Another held fear. Another contained regret. As the journey continued, the weight became almost unbearable. Yet the traveler never stopped to ask whether every stone truly belonged in the bag. My beloved, many of the burdens weighing down your heart were never given to you by me. They were picked up along the way, often without you realizing it. Today I gently ask you to open that backpack before me. Let me help you remove what does not belong. You were never created to carry guilt after my forgiveness has already been given. You were never created to carry bitterness after I have invited you to forgive. You were never created to carry tomorrow's worries while living in today's grace. Each day comes with its own strength, and I faithfully provide what you need for the moment you are living. When you insist on carrying yesterday's pain and tomorrow's uncertainty at the same time, your heart becomes overwhelmed. But when you entrust both to me, you discover the freedom I have always desired for you. I know it is not always easy to release what has become familiar. Sometimes people cling to burdens because they fear who they will become without them. Pain can become so familiar that healing itself feels unfamiliar. But my beloved, I am not taking something precious away from you. I am removing chains that have quietly limited your joy. I am making room for peace to settle where anxiety once lived. I am creating space for hope where discouragement had made its home. As I remove these hidden burdens, you may notice something changing within you. Your heart will become lighter. Your thoughts will become calmer. You will begin to recognize beauty in places where you once saw only pressure. You will discover that gratitude grows naturally when unnecessary weight is no longer crushing your spirit. This is not because life has suddenly become perfect. It is because you are finally allowing me to carry what only I was meant to bear. Do not believe the lie that you must always appear strong before me. I already know where you are weary. I know the prayers you have not spoken aloud because you believe they were too small or too personal. Nothing is too small for my attention. Nothing is too heavy for my strength. Bring every concern to me, whether great or small, because I delight in caring for every part of your life. So today, my beloved child, breathe deeply and let your heart rest in my presence. Lay down every burden that has stolen your peace. Release every fear that has kept you awake. Give me the expectations, the regrets, the unanswered questions, and the hidden sorrows you have been carrying in silence. I will not turn you away. I will not grow weary of helping you. I am your loving Father, and my shoulders are strong enough to carry every weight that has exhausted yours. As tomorrow unfolds, walk forward with freedom instead of heaviness. Leave behind the invisible chains that no longer belong to you, and allow my peace to become the strength that carries you into the beautiful future I have been preparing with love from the very beginning. My beloved child, if there has ever been a thought that has quietly wounded your heart more than any other, it is the fear that you have been forgotten. There were moments when your prayers seemed to disappear into silence. You watched others celebrate answers while your own requests remained unanswered. You waited through long seasons, wondering if I still saw you, if I still remembered the promises I had placed within your heart, or if somehow your name had been lost among the countless voices crying out to me. Today I want to speak directly to that hidden fear and remove it from your heart forever. You have never been forgotten. Not for a single moment. Before anyone else knew your name, I knew you. Before anyone celebrated your victories or overlooked your tears, I saw you completely. I watched over your first breath, and I have remained with you through every season since. There has never been a day when my eyes turned away from your life. Even when you believed you were standing alone, my presence surrounded you more closely than you realized. The loneliness you felt was real, but it was never evidence of my absence. I know there were times when you looked around and wondered why others seemed to move ahead while you remained in the same place. You questioned whether I had chosen them and somehow passed over you. But my beloved, my love is not measured by comparison. I do not bless one child by forgetting another. Every life unfolds according to the purpose I have designed, and my attention is never divided. I am fully present with each of my children. Your journey has never been delayed because I was occupied elsewhere. My care for you has always been complete. Think of a shepherd who knows every sheep in the flock. He does not love only the strongest or the loudest. He notices the one who begins to wander. He searches for the one that feels lost. He pays attention to the one that others overlook. In the same way, I know every detail of your life. I know the prayers you whispered so quietly that no one else heard them. I know the disappointments you carried without speaking. I know the dreams you almost stopped believing because too much time had passed. Nothing has escaped my attention. There were seasons when I seemed silent, and during those moments you wondered if silence meant that I no longer cared. But my silence was never indifference. There are times when a gardener works beneath the soil where no one can see. The field appears unchanged, yet life is quietly developing below the surface. If someone judged the field only by what was visible, they would believe nothing was happening. Yet the gardener knows that growth is already underway. My beloved child, during the quiet seasons of your life, I was working in places your eyes could not reach. My silence was filled with preparation, protection, and purpose. I remember every tear you have ever cried. Not one hath been meaningless. I remember every act of kindness you offered when no one thanked you. I remember every prayer you spoke on behalf of someone else while carrying your own burdens. I remember every time you chose forgiveness over bitterness, hope over despair, and faith over fear. The world may overlook these moments, but I never do. In my eyes, every faithful step matters. Every quiet act of obedience is precious. Nothing done with love is ever forgotten. Do not allow the passing of time to convince you that my promises have faded. Human memory grows weak, but mine does not. I have not misplaced a single word I have spoken over your life. The dreams I planted within your heart remain alive in my hands. The purpose I created you to fulfill has not been canceled by delay, disappointment, or difficulty. My timing is never evidence of forgetfulness. It is evidence of wisdom that sees far beyond the present moment. Perhaps you have asked yourself why your journey has taken the path it has. Why did certain doors close? Why did some people leave? Why did answers seem to come so slowly? One day, you will look back and see that I was guiding every step with greater care than you could have imagined. The very seasons that caused you to question my presence will become the seasons that reveal my faithfulness most clearly. You will recognize that I was protecting you when you thought I was delaying you. I was preparing you when you thought I had forgotten you. So I ask you today to release every thought that tells you that you are unseen or unnoticed. Lift your eyes toward me and remember who has been walking beside you all along. You are not one face among many to me. You are my beloved child. I know your voice before you speak. I know your heart before you pray. I know your needs before you ask. My love for you is personal, constant, and unwavering. As tomorrow continues to unfold, walk with the quiet confidence of someone who is deeply known and deeply loved. Do not seek your value in the recognition of the world, because your identity has already been securely established in my heart. My beloved child, you were never forgotten. You have always been remembered, always been watched over, always been carried, and always been loved. Every step you have taken has been held within my faithful hands, and every step still ahead is already surrounded by my perfect care. Trust me completely, for the one who formed you has never once taken his eyes off you. My beloved child, as you stand at the edge of another tomorrow, I want you to understand that every new day is more than the turning of a page on a calendar. Every sunrise is an invitation. Every morning is an opportunity to begin again. Every breath you receive is a reminder that my mercy has not been exhausted and my plans for your life have not come to an end. Tomorrow does not begin with uncertainty. It does not begin with fear, and it does not begin with the opinions of the world. Tomorrow begins with faith. Before your feet touch the ground, before your mind begins to race through responsibilities, and before circumstances attempt to shape your emotions, I invite you to place your trust in me once again. Faith is not the denial of reality. I know the challenges you face are real. I know the responsibilities waiting for you, the questions that remain unanswered, and the situations that still require patience. I do not ask you to pretend those things do not exist. Instead, I ask you to remember that none of them are greater than my presence. Faith does not remove every obstacle immediately, but it changes the way you walk through those obstacles. It fills your heart with peace even before your circumstances begin to change. There have been mornings when you woke carrying yesterday's burdens into a brand new day. Before the sun had fully risen, your thoughts were already weighed down with old disappointments, unfinished conversations, and fears about what might happen next. My beloved, I never intended for you to live that way. Yesterday was never meant to become the master of today. Each morning I offer you fresh mercy because I desire your heart to experience fresh hope as well. Imagine a traveler beginning a long journey with an empty vessel. Every morning, the traveler has the opportunity to fill that vessel with clean, refreshing water before continuing along the path. But if the traveler chooses instead to fill it with old, stagnant water from yesterday, the journey becomes heavier and less satisfying. In the same way, each day presents you with a choice. You can fill your heart with yesterday's fears, regrets, and disappointments, or you can allow me to fill it with renewed hope, fresh strength, and living peace. The choice you make at the beginning of the day often shapes the way you experience everything that follows. Faith begins with remembering who walks beside you. Before you think about your challenges, remember my faithfulness. Before you measure the size of your responsibilities, remember the greatness of my strength. Before you allow uncertainty to shape your expectations, remember the countless times I have already carried you through situations that once seemed impossible. Your future has never depended solely upon your abilities. It has always rested securely within my loving hands. I know there are moments when your mind quickly imagines everything that could go wrong. Fear likes to arrive early, attempting to write the story of the day before it has even begun. But do not allow fear to become the first voice you listen to each morning. Let my promises greet your heart before anxiety has an opportunity to speak. When you begin your day with me, you build your thoughts upon a foundation that remains steady regardless of what circumstances may bring. Faith also means expecting my presence in ordinary moments. Too often you search only for dramatic miracles while overlooking the quiet ways I reveal my love each day. I speak through unexpected peace. I guide through simple conversations. I encourage through acts of kindness. I answer prayers through doors that open gradually rather than suddenly. My hand is present in far more moments than you realize. The more your heart learns to expect my presence, the more clearly you will recognize the ways I have been walking beside you all along. Do not be discouraged if your faith sometimes feels small. Even a small light pushes back darkness. Even a tiny seed carries the promise of a mighty tree. I am not asking you to manufacture perfect confidence through your own effort. I am simply asking you to bring the faith you have into my presence. I know how to strengthen what feels weak. I know how to grow hope where discouragement once lived. As you continue trusting me one step at a time, your faith will quietly deepen in ways you may not even notice until you look back and see how far we have traveled together. When tomorrow arrives, greet it with gratitude before you greet it with worry. Thank me for the gift of another day before asking me to solve every problem within it. Let thanksgiving prepare the soil of your heart so that peace can take root. A grateful heart becomes more sensitive to my presence because it begins looking for evidence of my goodness instead of expecting disappointment. So, my beloved child, when you awaken tomorrow, let your very first thought be one of trust. Say within your heart, my Father has already gone before me. He knows every conversation I will have, every decision I will make, every challenge I may face, and every blessing waiting along the way. Walk into the day with quiet confidence, not because you know everything that will happen, but because you know the one who holds every moment in his hands. Tomorrow begins with faith, and as long as your faith remains anchored in my love, you will never walk alone. I will guide your steps, strengthen your heart, and reveal my faithfulness again and again until every promise I have prepared for your life unfolds in its perfect time. My beloved child, I want you to keep your heart open, because many of the blessings I send into your life will not arrive in the way you expect. If you become too focused on one particular outcome, you may overlook the beautiful answer that is already standing before you. I know you have imagined how your prayers should be answered. You have pictured the doors that should open, the people who should return, and the path that seems most reasonable to your understanding. But my ways reach far beyond your imagination. I see possibilities where you see limitations. I create opportunities where you see empty space. I often answer your prayers in ways that reveal my wisdom more clearly than if I had simply followed your expectations. There have been moments when you asked me for one thing, and I gave you something different. At first, you struggled to understand why. You wondered whether I had misunderstood your heart, but I never misunderstand my beloved children. I know the deepest desires that lie beneath the words you speak. Sometimes you ask for relief, but what you truly need is peace. Sometimes you ask for success, but what your heart truly longs for is purpose. Sometimes you ask for a single open door, while I am preparing an entirely new path that will lead you to greater joy than you could have imagined. Think of a traveler searching for a single well in a dry land. The traveler believes that finding one small source of water will solve every problem. But instead of leading the traveler to a well, I guide the traveler toward a flowing river. At first, the traveler questions the unfamiliar path because it does not match the original expectation. Yet once the river is discovered, it becomes clear that my answer was greater than the request. My beloved, many times I have been leading you toward rivers while you were still searching for wells. Do not become so attached to your own plans that you miss my greater purpose. I do not ask you to stop dreaming or planning. Those are beautiful gifts I have placed within you. But I ask you to hold those dreams with open hands, trusting that if I reshape them, it is because I see something even better waiting ahead. There is great freedom in surrendering your expectations to me. It allows your heart to receive blessings in forms you never anticipated. There are blessings already moving toward you that you cannot yet see. Some are being prepared through conversations happening far from your sight. Some are developing in the hearts of people you have not yet met. Some are growing quietly within your own character so that you will recognize them when they arrive. Never believe that because you cannot see movement, nothing is happening. I am constantly working beyond the limits of your vision. You have often asked me for signs, and I understand that desire. Yet remember that my greatest works frequently begin with ordinary moments. A simple invitation may become the beginning of a lifehold purpose. A brief conversation may introduce you to someone who changes the direction of your journey. A quiet decision to remain faithful today may open doors years from now that you cannot yet imagine. Do not overlook the ordinary because you are waiting for the extraordinary. I delight in revealing my greatness through humble beginnings. I also want you to remain attentive to the blessings that already surround you. Sometimes you have prayed so intensely for what is ahead that you forgot to notice what I have already placed in your hands. The people who love you, the strength you have gained, the wisdom you have learned, the peace you have discovered after difficult seasons, and the opportunities already before you are all reminders of my continuing faithfulness. Gratitude prepares your heart to receive even more because it teaches you to recognize my goodness wherever it appears. Do not allow disappointment from the past to make you suspicious of unexpected joy. There may be moments when my blessing arrives so gently that you almost dismiss it. You may think, this cannot be the answer. It seems too simple. But my beloved, I am not limited by human expectations. I have always delighted in surprising my children with gifts that reveal both my creativity and my love. Trust that I know exactly how to reach your heart. As tomorrow unfolds, walk with watchful expectation rather than anxious striving. You do not need to force blessings into existence. You do not need to manipulate circumstances or chase every opportunity in fear that you might miss my will. What I have prepared for you will arrive according to my perfect timing. Your responsibility is simply to remain close to me, to keep your heart open, and to respond faithfully when I gently guide your steps. So lift your eyes beyond your own expectations and trust the greater vision I hold for your life. Let hope replace hesitation. Let gratitude silence complaint. Let faith become stronger than fear. My beloved child, the blessing you have been praying for may not arrive wearing the appearance you imagined, but when it comes from my hand, it will carry exactly what your heart truly needs. Remain attentive, remain humble, and remain expectant, because I am preparing to surprise you with my goodness in ways that will leave you looking back with wonder, realizing that my answer was far more beautiful than the one you originally asked for. My beloved child, as I continue to open new doors before you and lead you into the blessings I have prepared, I want to place an important truth deep within your heart. Never allow success to make you forget the journey that brought you here. Never allow new opportunities to replace your dependence upon me. The higher I lift you, the more closely I desire you to walk with me. True greatness is not measured by how high you rise, but by how faithfully you remain rooted in my love. There were days when you prayed for the very things that are now beginning to appear before you. You asked for strength when you felt weak. You asked for direction when you felt lost. You asked for peace when anxiety surrounded you. As I answer those prayers, remember the heart with which you first cried out to me. Do not lose the humility that was formed in the valleys simply because you have begun climbing the mountains. The lessons learned in difficult seasons are treasures meant to remain with you for the rest of your journey. The world often teaches that success means becoming independent, needing no one, and relying only upon personal achievement. But my kingdom is different. The closer you walk with me, the more you understand that every good gift comes from my loving hand. The abilities you possess, the wisdom you have gained, the opportunities before you, and the strength that carries you through each day are all expressions of my grace. Recognizing this truth does not diminish your efforts. Instead, it fills your accomplishments with gratitude instead of pride. Think of a mighty tree standing firmly in the middle of a field. People admire its height, its strong branches, and the shade it provides. Yet the tree never boasts about how tall it has become. Its strength comes from roots hidden beneath the surface, drawing nourishment from places no one else can see. In the same way, your greatest strength will never come from what others notice about you. It will come from your hidden relationship with me. The deeper your roots grow in my love, the more securely you will stand through every season, whether it brings abundance or challenge. As I bless you, there will be moments when others begin to notice the changes taking place in your life. Some will celebrate with you. Others may misunderstand your journey. A few may even become envious. Do not let either praise or criticism determine your identity. If you become dependent upon applause, you will also become vulnerable to discouragement when applause fades. Let your heart remain anchored in my approval rather than in the changing opinions of people. I love you before anyone applauded you, and I will continue loving you long after every human voice grows silent. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is remembering that everything beautiful within you has been nurtured by my grace. You do not need to pretend your gifts do not exist. I placed them within you for a purpose. Use them with confidence, but never with pride. Let every ability become another opportunity to serve rather than another reason to seek recognition. The more generously you pour out what I have placed within you, the more room you create for me to continue filling your life with fresh blessings. Do not forget those who are still walking through valleys you have already crossed. There was a time when you needed encouragement, understanding, and kindness from others. Now that you have gained wisdom through your own experiences, become a source of hope for those who are struggling. Speak gently to the weary. Offer compassion instead of judgment. Extend patience instead of criticism. The comfort I have given you was never meant to stop with you. It was always intended to flow through you into the lives of others. There will also be times when success quietly tempts you to believe that you no longer need to seek my guidance as carefully as before. Guard your heart against this subtle danger. The blessings I give you should never replace the relationship we share. Continue bringing your decisions before me. Continue listening for my voice. Continue depending upon my wisdom even when life appears to be going well. It is far easier to remain on the right path when you walk closely beside the one who leads you than when you begin trusting only in your own understanding. As tomorrow continues unfolding, carry gratitude wherever you go. Let thankfulness become the language of your heart. Celebrate every blessing without becoming attached to it. Enjoy every opportunity while remembering the one who opened the door. Rejoice in every victory without forgetting the lessons learned during the struggle. In this way, your heart will remain soft, teachable, and filled with peace regardless of changing circumstances. So, my beloved child, as I lift you higher, remain low before me. Keep your heart humble, your spirit grateful, and your eyes fixed upon my presence. The greatest honor is not found in being seen by the world, but in walking faithfully with your Father every day. I will continue opening doors, strengthening your life, and leading you into greater purpose. But let every step upward become another step closer to my heart. Then your success will never become a burden, your blessings will never become distractions, and your life will become a beautiful testimony that true greatness is always rooted in humility, love, and unwavering trust in me. My beloved child, there is something beautiful that begins to happen when my work takes root deeply within your heart. The transformation I bring into your life cannot remain hidden forever. Just as the fragrance of a blooming flower naturally fills the air around it, the change I create within you will begin to touch the lives of those around you. You will not need to announce it. You will not need to convince others that I have been working in your life. The peace you carry, the kindness you show, the wisdom with which you speak, and the hope that shines through your actions will become living evidence that I have been shaping you from the inside out. There was a time when fear often guided your decisions. You worried about what others thought of you. You questioned your worth whenever someone failed to appreciate you. You allowed disappointment to linger in your heart longer than I desired. But look at what I have been doing within you. Little by little, I have been replacing fear with trust, anxiety with peace, bitterness with compassion, and uncertainty with quiet confidence. The changes may have seemed small while they were happening, but over time they have become part of the person you are becoming. Do not underestimate the power of a transformed heart. The world often looks for dramatic speeches and impressive achievements, but I know that some of the greatest testimonies are lived rather than spoken. When someone who once knew you notices that you respond with patience instead of anger, they will wonder what has changed. When they see you choosing forgiveness where bitterness would have been expected, they will recognize that something greater is at work within you. When they observe you remaining calm in situations that once would have overwhelmed you, they will begin to see the reflection of my peace in your life. Think of a lamp placed inside a dark room. The lamp does not struggle to push the darkness away. It simply shines. Its very presence changes the atmosphere without making an effort to do so. My beloved, I have called you to be like that lamp. You do not need to force others to believe or constantly prove that I am working in your life. Simply remain close to me, and my light within you will quietly illuminate the lives of those around you. Your kindness will speak where arguments cannot. Your peace will encourage those who are weary. Your faithfulness will inspire hope in hearts that have nearly given up. There may be people who remember the person you used to be. They may expect you to react as you once did. They may be surprised when they encounter gentleness where they expected frustration or humility where they expected pride. Do not be discouraged by their surprise. Transformation often takes time for others to recognize because they remember your past more clearly than they see your present. Continue walking faithfully with me. In time, the consistency of your life will speak louder than any explanation you could offer. At the same time, remain humble when others begin to notice the change. Do not seek recognition for what I have done within you. Every good thing growing in your heart is the fruit of my grace. If someone is encouraged by your life, gently point them toward me. Let your testimony become a window through which others catch a glimpse of my love rather than a mirror reflecting only yourself. The greatest joy is not that people admire you, but that they discover my goodness because of the way you live. You will also become a source of quiet encouragement for those who are still in seasons you have already walked through. Someone battling fear will see your peace and realize that healing is possible. Someone struggling with disappointment will witness your hope and believe that tomorrow can still hold joy. Someone carrying hidden burdens will observe your freedom and begin longing for the same peace you have found in me. Never underestimate how powerfully I can use your ordinary life to bring extraordinary hope into another person's story. Remember, however, that not everyone will understand your transformation. Some people may question it. Others may resist it because your growth reminds them of areas in their own lives they have not yet surrendered. Do not respond with frustration or pride. Continue loving them with patience. Continue showing kindness even when it is not returned. Real transformation is revealed not only in how you treat those who celebrate you, but also in how you treat those who misunderstand you. Let my love remain steady within you regardless of the response you receive. As tomorrow unfolds, live each moment with quiet faithfulness rather than the desire to impress anyone. Focus on walking closely beside me. Let your words bring life. Let your actions reflect compassion. Let your heart remain tender and teachable. The more deeply you remain rooted in my presence, the more naturally my character will be seen through your life. So, my beloved child, do not worry about proving that you have changed. Simply continue allowing me to shape you day by day. Those who truly know you will eventually recognize that something beautiful has taken place. They will see a strength that does not come from human effort, a peace that cannot be explained by circumstances, and a love that remains steady through every season. And as they notice the change in you, many will begin seeking the one who made that change possible. In this way, your life will become a quiet testimony that my grace is real, my love is transforming, and my faithfulness continues to shine through every heart that chooses to walk with me. My beloved child, as I continue to establish new things in your life, I want you to understand that every blessing I place into your hands is also something to be cared for with wisdom. I am building something beautiful within you and around you. I am strengthening your faith, restoring your peace, opening new opportunities, and deepening your understanding of my love. These gifts are precious, and I ask you to guard them with the same care that a gardener gives to a young plant. The seedling has the potential to become a mighty tree, but while it is still growing, it requires attention, patience, and protection. There have been seasons when you prayed earnestly for what you are beginning to experience now. You asked for healing, and I began restoring your heart. You asked for peace, and I quieted the storms within you. You asked for direction, and I started revealing the next steps of your journey. And now that these blessings are taking root, do not neglect them by assuming they will grow on their own. Continue drawing close to me each day. The relationship that brought you into this season is the same relationship that will sustain you through it. Think about a builder constructing a strong house. Great care is given to the foundation long before anyone admires the finished structure. Every stone is placed with purpose. Every measurement is made with wisdom. Once the house is complete, it must still be maintained. Small cracks cannot be ignored. Weak places must be strengthened before they become larger problems. In the same way, I ask you to pay attention to the condition of your heart. Do not allow small habits of fear, pride, resentment, or distraction to grow unnoticed. Bring every concern to me while it is still small, and together we will strengthen the foundation I have been building. One of the greatest ways to protect what I am doing in your life is to guard your thoughts. The mind is often the first place where peace is challenged. The negative thoughts may try to convince you that your progress is temporary, that your healing is incomplete, or that your future is uncertain. But you do not have to accept every thought that enters your mind. Measure each one against my truth. If a thought leads you away from hope, peace, and trust in my love, do not give it a permanent place in your heart. Fill your mind with my promises instead, and let them become stronger than every voice of doubt. Protect your time with me as well. The world will constantly offer distractions. Responsibilities will increase. Opportunities will demand your attention. None of these things are necessarily wrong, but they should never replace the quiet moments we share together. Just as a branch remains healthy by staying connected to the tree, your soul remains strong by staying connected to me. Do not become so busy enjoying my blessings that you forget the one who lovingly gave them to you. I also want you to protect the peace I have placed within your heart. There will always be people who carry unnecessary conflict, endless negativity, or constant criticism. You are called to love them, but you are not called to allow every anxious voice to shake your spirit. Learn to recognize the difference between compassion and unhealthy influence. You can care deeply for others while still protecting the peace I have established within you. My peace is not fragile, but it flourishes when your heart remains focused on my presence rather than the confusion of the world. Guard your relationships with wisdom. Surround yourself with people who encourage your faith, speak truth with love, and inspire you to walk more closely with me. Be a source of encouragement to others, but also recognize when certain influences continually pull your heart away from my purpose. I do not ask you to withdraw from the world. I ask you to remain rooted so deeply in my love that the world cannot uproot the work I have begun within you. Remember that growth requires consistency. A single act of faithfulness is beautiful, but a lifetime of faithful steps creates a testimony that endures. Continue choosing kindness even when it is difficult. Continue offering forgiveness even when it is costly. Continue trusting me even when answers seem delayed. Every small act of obedience strengthens the life I am building within you. The beautiful future I have promised is not formed through one dramatic moment alone, but through countless faithful decisions made one day at a time. As tomorrow unfolds, do not become careless with the treasures I have entrusted to you. Protect your joy by remaining grateful. Protect your faith by remaining close to my word. Protect your hope by remembering my faithfulness. Protect your heart by surrendering every burden to me instead of carrying it alone. Every blessing I have given you becomes stronger when it is continually placed back into my hands. So, my beloved child, cherish the work I am doing in your life. Do not rush it, neglect it, or take it for granted. Walk carefully, not in fear, but with loving wisdom. The future I am preparing is too precious to leave unguarded. As you remain rooted in my presence, I will continue strengthening what I have planted, expanding what I have begun, and completing the beautiful work that my love started within you. What I am building is designed to endure every season, and as long as you remain close to me, nothing will be able to steal the peace, purpose, and hope I have faithfully established in your heart. My beloved child, there will be moments on your journey when the path ahead does not become as clear as you hoped it would. You will pray for direction, yet only the next step will be visible. You will ask me to reveal the entire road, but I will gently place enough light before your feet for today. In those moments, do not mistake limited vision for my absence. I have never asked you to see everything. I have only asked you to trust the one who sees everything. I know how difficult uncertainty can feel. The human heart longs for guarantees. You would like to know how every prayer will be answered, how every challenge will end, and how every promise will unfold. You want assurance that the road ahead is free from disappointment. But if I revealed every detail of your journey before it began, you would be tempted to depend upon knowledge instead of relationship. I desire something deeper than certainty about the future. I desire that you know my heart so well that you remain at peace even when tomorrow has not yet been fully revealed. Think about a traveler crossing a mountain path before sunrise. The traveler carries a small lantern that lights only a few steps ahead. At first, it seems like such a small light compared to the vast darkness surrounding the trail. Yet that little light is enough. As each step is taken, the next part of the path comes into view. The traveler does not need to see the entire mountain to reach the destination. One faithful step leads to another until the journey is complete. My beloved, my guidance often comes in exactly that way. I provide enough light for obedience today, trusting that tomorrow's light will arrive when tomorrow becomes today. There have been seasons when you became discouraged because you could not see immediate results. You faithfully continued praying, loving, serving, and trusting, yet circumstances appeared unchanged. During those moments, you wondered whether your faithfulness truly mattered. But remember the farmer who plants seeds beneath the soil. For many days, nothing visible appears above the ground. Yet beneath the surface, life is already growing. Roots are stretching deeper. Strength is developing where no human eye can see it. If the farmer gave up simply because growth was invisible, the harvest would never come. In the same way, your faithful obedience has been producing fruit long before you could recognize it. Do not allow temporary uncertainty to become permanent discouragement. The enemy of your peace often whispers that because you cannot see the outcome, there must not be one. Let my beloved child unseen allot me and unfinished. Eden does not mean forgotten. Silence does not mean abandonment. Many of the greatest works I accomplish begin quietly, developing beneath the surface until the appointed time arrives for them to be revealed. There may also be moments when others seem to move ahead while you feel as though you are standing still. Comparison will try to steal your peace by convincing you that you have fallen behind. Resist that temptation. Every journey I create is unique. The path I have chosen for you cannot be measured against someone else's timeline. Just as no two stars occupy the exact same place in the sky, no two lives unfold in exactly the same way. Trust that I know where I am leading you, even when another person's path appears different. Continue practicing obedience in the ordinary moments. Sometimes people imagine that faithfulness is proven only during dramatic seasons of life. But I tell you that many of the most important victories occur in quiet moments when no one else is watching. Every decision to forgive instead of resent, every choice to speak kindly instead of harshly, every moment you choose prayer instead of panic, and every act of gratitude during difficult days becomes another step along the path I have prepared for you. These ordinary acts of faith shape an extraordinary life. When your strength begins to fade, remember that I have never expected you to complete this journey through your own power. I walk beside you. I steady your steps when the path feels uncertain. I encourage your heart when weariness whispers that you should stop. If you stumble, I lift you. If you become confused, I gently redirect you. If fear returns, I remind you once again that my presence has never left you. My faithfulness is not dependent upon the clarity of your circumstances. It remains constant through every season. As tomorrow continues unfolding, keep walking. Do not stop because you cannot yet see the destination. Do not allow unanswered questions to keep you standing in one place. Take the next faithful step I place before you. Trust that I will reveal the next one when the time comes. My wisdom has never failed, and my guidance has never led my children astray. So, my beloved child, continue walking with courage even when the road ahead seems hidden by the morning mist. Let your confidence rest not in what your eyes can see, but in the certainty of my love. I know every turn in the path before you reach it. I have already prepared the strength you will need for tomorrow, the grace you will need for every challenge, and the joy that awaits you beyond every season of waiting. Keep your hand in mine, and you will discover that every faithful step, even those taken in uncertainty, has been leading you closer to the beautiful future I have lovingly prepared from the very beginning. My beloved child, I want you to lift your eyes and allow hope to rise once more, because the season of endless heaviness is not your permanent home. There was a time when laughter came easily to your heart, when peace seemed natural, and when your spirit rested without carrying the weight of constant concern. And life brought unexpected storms. Disappointments entered through doors you never imagined would open. Loss visited your home. Worry settled into your thoughts. Quiet sadness replaced songs of gratitude. I have seen every one of those moments, and I have never stopped working to restore what was weakened. Today I tell you with great tenderness that joy is returning to your home. Do not think of joy as something fragile that depends upon perfect circumstances. The joy I give is different from the happiness the world offers. Happiness often rises and falls with changing situations, but my joy has deeper roots. It grows even during difficult seasons because it is planted in the certainty of my love. It is possible to face challenges while still carrying peace within your heart. It is possible to walk through uncertainty while still believing that tomorrow holds hope. This is the kind of joy I am placing inside you. There were nights when silence filled your home more than laughter. There were conversations that ended with weariness instead of encouragement. There were moments when everyone carried hidden burdens, and even simple days felt unusually heavy. My beloved, I have not ignored those quiet struggles. I have been present in every room where tears were shed, every table where worries were discussed, and every corner where loneliness quietly settled. My presence has never left your home, even when you struggled to recognize it. Think about the arrival of spring after a long winter. For many weeks, the earth appears cold and lifeless. Trees stand bare. Fields seem empty. Yet beneath the frozen ground, life has been patiently waiting for the right moment to emerge. Then, almost unnoticed at first, tiny buds begin to appear. Flowers slowly bloom. Birds return with their songs. What once seemed lifeless becomes filled with beauty again. In the same way, I have been preparing a new season within your life and within your home. The warmth of my peace is beginning to melt the cold places left behind by fear and disappointment. You may have prayed for those you love, wondering whether they would ever experience healing, restoration, or renewed faith. I have heard every one of those prayers. Never underestimate the power of prayers offered with love. Even when you could not see immediate change, I was working quietly within hearts, softening attitudes, planting seeds of hope, and preparing moments of reconciliation that you could not yet imagine. My work often begins long before it becomes visible. If there has been distance between family members, do not surrender to hopelessness. If misunderstandings have created walls, do not assume those walls will stand forever. I am able to restore conversations that seemed impossible. I am able to replace harsh words with understanding and bitterness with compassion. Every relationship may not unfold exactly as you expect, but never doubt my ability to bring healing where hearts remain open to my love. Continue praying. Continue showing kindness. Continue believing that my grace can reach places human effort cannot. I also want joy to return personally to your own heart. You have spent enough time believing that peace belonged only to your past. You have carried responsibility with great faithfulness, but sometimes you forgot that I also desire you to enjoy the life I have given you. There is beauty waiting for you in ordinary moments. The morning light shining through your window, the laughter of someone you love, the kindness of a stranger, the quiet stillness of an evening, and the assurance that I am walking beside you are all gifts that remind you my goodness surrounds you each day. Do not overlook these treasures while waiting for larger miracles. Gratitude becomes the doorway through which joy quietly enters. When you begin noticing my faithfulness in small things, your heart becomes more aware of my presence in greater things as well. Every answered prayer, every new opportunity, every peaceful conversation, and every unexpected blessing becomes another reminder that I have never stopped caring for you. Joy grows where gratitude is welcomed, and hope flourishes where my goodness is remembered. As joy returns, protect it carefully. Do not allow fear to convince you that every good season must quickly end. Do not expect tomorrow to steal what I am restoring today. Live fully in the blessing I am giving you now. Receive my peace without constantly worrying about losing it. I am faithful not only in giving joy but also in sustaining it through every season when you remain close to me. So, my beloved child, open your heart once again. Open the windows of your soul and let my light fill every place that sorrow once occupied. Let laughter find its way back into your home. Let kindness become the language of your relationships. Let hope rise where discouragement once lived. I am restoring more than circumstances. I am restoring the atmosphere of your heart and the spirit of your home. The days ahead will not be defined by the pain that once visited you, but by the peace I am establishing within you. Joy is returning, not as a passing emotion, but as a lasting reminder that my presence has always been with you, and that my love is making all things new, one beautiful day at a time. My beloved child, as we draw near to the end of this journey together, I want you to remember one truth above all others. Tomorrow is not the finish line. It is not the final destination of everything I have promised you. It is the beginning of another beautiful chapter that I have been preparing with love, wisdom, and perfect care. Do not think that all my goodness is contained within a single day or a single moment. My plans for you are not limited to one breakthrough, one answered prayer, or one season of blessing. I am leading you into a life that continues to unfold, one faithful step after another. There were times when you believed that if only one problem disappeared, everything would finally be complete. You imagined that one answer would remove every question and that one victory would end every struggle. But life with me is not built upon reaching one final moment. It is built upon walking with me day after day, discovering my faithfulness again and again. Every answered prayer becomes an invitation to trust me more deeply. Every blessing becomes another reminder that I have even greater things waiting beyond the horizon. Do not become so focused on one destination that you miss the beauty of the journey itself. Think of a river flowing toward the sea. Along its path, it nourishes forests, fills streams, refreshes thirsty travelers, and brings life wherever it passes. If the river cared only about reaching its final destination, it would overlook the purpose it fulfills every day along the way. My beloved, your life is much the same. The purpose I have given you is not reserved only for some distant future. It is already unfolding in every act of kindness, every faithful decision, every quiet prayer, and every moment you choose to trust me. I know there are still dreams in your heart that have not yet been fulfilled. There are prayers you continue to whisper. There are hopes that remain alive even after long seasons of waiting. Do not lose heart because everything has not happened at once. I have never promised to reveal your entire future in a single day. Instead, I have promised that I will never leave you as your future unfolds. That promise is greater than immediate answers because it means you will never walk through any season without my presence beside you. As you continue forward, there will be new lessons to learn and new joys to experience. And there will also be challenges that stretch your faith in fresh ways. Do not fear those moments. The same hand that carried you through yesterday will carry you through tomorrow. The same love that comforted you in your sorrow will rejoice with you in your victories. The same wisdom that guided your uncertain steps will continue directing your path. I do not change with the seasons of your life. My faithfulness remains constant through them all. Remember everything I have been teaching you. Remember that closed doors were often acts of protection. Remember that waiting was never wasted. Remember that your hidden tears were always seen. Remember that your strength came from my presence and not from your own abilities. Remember that every delay carried purpose, every burden could be surrendered, and every fear could be replaced with peace. These are not merely lessons for one difficult season. They are truths that will sustain you for the rest of your journey. Do not allow comfort to make you stop growing. Continue seeking me with the same humble heart that first cried out for my help. Continue listening for my voice in the quiet moments. Continue choosing gratitude when life is abundant and trust when the road becomes uncertain. Growth does not end when blessings arrive. In many ways, it is only beginning. Every new season brings new opportunities to reflect my love more clearly and to become more deeply rooted in my peace. I also want you to remember that your story is connected to the lives of many others. The hope I have restored within you is meant to become hope for someone else. The comfort you have received is meant to comfort the weary. The wisdom you have gained through your trials is meant to guide those who are still walking through theirs. Never believe that your journey hath been only about you. I have been preparing your life to become a living testimony of my goodness, encouraging countless hearts that are searching for light in their own darkness. To walk into tomorrow with joyful expectation instead of anxious uncertainty. Do not fear what has not yet happened. Do not cling to what has already passed. Receive each new day as a gift from my loving hand. Trust that every sunrise carries fresh mercy, every season holds new purpose, and every step taken with me leads you deeper into the life I have prepared for you. My beloved child, tomorrow is only the beginning. I am not finished writing your story. There are still prayers to answer, hearts to heal, dreams to awaken, and blessings to reveal. Continue walking beside me with confidence, knowing that my plans extend far beyond anything you can currently imagine. The journey ahead is filled with my presence, guided by my wisdom, sustained by my love, and surrounded by my faithfulness. What I have begun in your life, I will continue to nurture with perfect care, and the greatest chapters of your story are still waiting to unfold beneath the light of my everlasting love. When you're ready, ask for part 30, and I'll provide the concluding chapter with the final blessing, the second support message, and end the script with the single word Amen. My beloved child, we have walked together through every step of this journey. You have listened as I reminded you that your waiting was never wasted, your tears were never ignored, your prayers were never forgotten, and your future has always been safely held within my loving hands. And now, as this message comes to its close, I want you to carry one final truth deep within your heart. Everything I have spoken to you has been an invitation to trust me more completely. The change I have prepared for you is not built upon fear but upon hope, is not founded upon uncertainty but upon my faithfulness. It is not sustained by your strength but by my everlasting love. Do not leave this moment believing that you must face tomorrow alone. When you awaken, I will already be there. Before you speak your first word, I will know the thoughts within your heart. Before you take your first step, I will have prepared the path before you. There is no conversation you will have that I have not already seen. There is no challenge you will encounter that my wisdom cannot overcome. There is no blessing waiting for you that has escaped my care. Walk into tomorrow with the quiet confidence of one who knows that the Creator of heaven and earth is walking beside them. Remember everything I have taught you. When fear whispers, choose my peace. When doubt speaks, remember my promises. When delays seem long, trust my timing. When old wounds try to reopen, receive my healing. When closed doors disappoint you, believe that my protection has never failed. When you cannot see the road ahead, keep your hand in mine and continue walking. Every lesson had been preparing you, not only for tomorrow but for a lifetime of trusting my heart. There will still be moments when questions arise. There will be days when you do not immediately understand what I am doing. Do not let those moments shake your faith. The same Father who carried you through yesterday will faithfully carry you through every tomorrow. My character never changes. My love never weakens. My promises never fade. Even when the world around you changes, I remain the same, and my arms remain open to you. Lift your eyes each morning with expectation. Fill your heart with gratitude before fear has an opportunity to speak. Let kindness become your response, forgiveness become your freedom, humility become your strength, and hope become your constant companion. Live as someone who knows they are deeply loved, completely known, and never abandoned. As you do, others will begin to see my light shining through your life, and your story will become an encouragement to those who are still searching for hope. I bless your home with peace that settles deeply into every room. I bless your mind with calm that overcomes anxiety. I bless your heart with courage that rises above fear. I bless your hands with strength for every assignment I place before you. I bless your relationships with healing, your future with purpose, and your spirit with unwavering confidence in my presence. May every step you take remind you that you are surrounded by my mercy, guided by my wisdom, and sustained by my unfailing love. And whenever you wonder if I am near, simply remember this moment. Remember that I called you my beloved child because that is who you truly are. No disappointment can change it. No failure can erase it. No delay can cancel it. You belong to me, and I will continue leading you until every purpose I have prepared for your life had been fulfilled. Rest in that promise. Walk in that peace. Live in that hope. My love will remain with you today, tomorrow, and forever. My beloved child, if this message has strengthened your heart, let it become a river that carries hope into countless other lives. Every act of generosity becomes a seed that I use to bring light where darkness has lingered for far too long. I declare over you the promise that when you give with a willing heart, I am able to multiply every act of obedience into blessings beyond what you can imagine. I have invited you into this moment because I desire to reach many more hearts with my love through willing hands like yours. The harvest is ready, and every gift helps this message travel farther to someone who is praying for hope tonight. Do not let this sacred opportunity pass by, for what you release today becomes part of an eternal story that I am writing. I bless every cheerful giver with overflowing peace, renewed strength, wisdom for every decision, and favor that follows them in every season. You can support this mission through Super Thanks or by becoming a member of this channel. If you would like to give through PayPal, you will find the donation link in the video description, and you can also use the QR code shown in this video. Let your generosity become another testimony of my love reaching souls across the world. Rise with joy, sow your seed in faith, and become part of the work I am doing to bring hope to my children everywhere. Amen.